for people to wake up that angry. I mean, I know our traffic can drive you crazy, but it's never driven me to the point where I wanted to like pull out a gun.
Yeah, so this happened between 7 and 8 o'clock in Smyrna Saturday morning. 22-year-old Noah Taylor was westbound on 24, and he was on his way to work when he was gunned down and killed. Taylor's family offering a $2,000 reward on top of up to $1,000 from Crime Stoppers for information leading to the arrest of the suspect responsible. A church community in Lexington, Kentucky is mourning the loss of two of its churchgoers today. Police say a gunman opening fire on the congregation Sunday after shooting a state trooper, stealing a car, then driving to the Richmond Road Baptist Church where 4 people total were shot. Here's Aaron Katursky.
The violence began about 10 miles away with the shooting of a Kentucky state trooper. The suspect, Guy House, then carjacked a vehicle and drove here looking for the mother of his 3 children from whom he is estranged. We spoke to her. She told us that he has a history of mental illness, a criminal record, drug use, yet he was able to have a gun that he used to shoot and kill 2 women here at the church and shoot and wound their husbands, one of whom remains in critical condition.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we're starting to build the slowdowns going northbound 65 up to 24. That'll be the West Loop downtown. Then east and westbound 24. It's starting to slow down in between the eastern split and the loop downtown. Eastbound 24, some brake tapping there once you get past 440. I do see that police are reporting a crash 65 northbound right before Vietnam Veterans, then Rivergate. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, kids. Welcome in. It is a Monday afternoon. I bet you knew that. Just after 3 o'clock. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Underway for another day. underway for another week. Proud that you've decided to join us for a few minutes or the full 4 hours. Thank you for doing so. We so appreciate you. I'm going to try to entertain the masses, educate, maybe inform a little bit, take your calls, your considerations, your opinions. As always, we've got lots to get into and lots to do. We start by giving you the pleasantries, as in, it's Monday, July 14, 2025. It's episode 841 of our get-togethers today on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's day 175 of Donald Trump's 1460.5 in his second term in office. And I like to tell you where you can find us. Now, you're probably listening or watching on some platform of your choosing already. But know that you can take us wherever you go via an app like Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, our own app, Supertalk 99.7 WTN. You download it on your smartphone technology, and you can go wherever we go. We can go wherever you go, and you never have to miss a moment of the show. How about that? Obviously, there's the radio dial, and then there's Talk TV, that side of things. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. We're rumbling. Type in 997 WTN. I think that's correct. 997 WTN. That's all you need to type in to rumble with us. You can find me on social media at Matt Murphy Show. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. That's why we call it the pleasantries. At Matt Murphy Show. That's at Matt Murphy Show. And there you go. And Ken Weaver's already laughing at me for some reason.
Happy Tuesday Eve, Brother Murphy.
Love your pleasantries, Brother Murphy.
Well, thank you, Ken. I try to
they
get them
just
out of the way.
roll out there, dude.
I just try to get them out of the way as fast as humanly possible just to keep these folks on their toes. What's going on, Weaver?
Man, I'm just hanging out, writing up the news.
Hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
You know how that goes. Try to get a hair out of a biscuit. It holds on.
You just throw the biscuit away.
Grab
another one.
Just eat it.
No.
God, just eat it.
It depends on the hair.
That is the most. I mean, you've said a lot of smart things on this radio show, but that is right there amongst the top. It really depends on the hair. Yeah. If I have no hair identity, then I'm probably throwing that thing away. If it's my hair or a hair known to me, a relation, then maybe I'm eating the hair. I don't know. How good is you know what it also depends on?
What's that?
How good the biscuit is.
Well, that's true too.
Mm-hmm. Jackson, how are you?
I'm good, Murph.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have a good weekend?
Yeah. Just rocking and rolling on this Tuesday Eve.
I have a Jackson, you'll get in my bad graces. I'm not even kidding. I hate it. I hate it. And it's not even fun. I hate Friday Eve. I hate Tuesday Eve. I hate the nonsense. It's just nonsense.
The chat put me up to it.
Did they really?
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't. I should be. Here's the thing. Nobody will stop doing it. And so this is what I say, Jackson. You say Tuesday Eve or Thursday Eve or Friday Eve or whatever. You use these terminologies as much as you want. But just know, every time you do, a puppy dies.
That's right.
All right? Every time you do it, a puppy dies.
That's just not true.
And it most certainly is. And
Brother Bilal, he just doesn't care.
No, he doesn't. And Jackson, I think more of you than I do.
Did you call him Brother Bilal?
Yeah.
Well, he calls everybody brother somebody.
No, Bilal. I thought his name was just Bell.
That's his full name.
Bilal is the full name.
He just shortened it.
See, that's a guy in the newsroom. He gets to the bottom of it. He knows what's going down. He knows what's going on. Jackson, you don't know squat.
That's fair.
Tuesday
Not the first
Eve.
person to tell me that today.
And who calls Monday Tuesday Eve anyway?
I just heard them pissing you off during the last segment of Chad's show and figured I'd keep it going.
I let things wear me out that shouldn't wear me
That
out.
wore you out. I can hear it in your voice.
I really do. The heat index thing, it just wears me out. It shouldn't wear me out. I just don't understand why people are so.
What is your take on heat index?
It's dumb.
If it feels like 99 degrees, it's 99 degrees.
Right. So what they do, I mean, I understand the scientific nature of it, right? I understand that if it's 95, but we have high humidity, then it's going to feel hotter than that.
Yes, sir.
But in the last, I don't know, Ken, what would you say, 15 or 20 years,
Yes.
certainly, they can't help themselves, and they have to they have to sell it. They have to sell the sizzle. And so now they're putting a specific temperature on it. And I've seen some weather forecast where they don't even tell you what the temperature is going to be. They tell you what the feels like is going to be.
Yeah.
Well, just tell me what the temperature is.
Well,
and I
isn't
know
that
it's
what
humid.
Isn't that what you care about, like what it feels like?
No, I don't know. What it feels like to me outside might be different than what it feels like to you. How dare you tell me what it feels like to me outside?
Feels like
I'm
summer.
me. Right?
Yeah.
You're telling me it's actually 96, right? We know that. That
Right.
is science. That is a thermometer using Fahrenheit. That is a way to assign a number to the temperature. That feels like stuff. I mean, I understand they're using humidity and they're using a chart, but you're also telling me what it feels like to me. What's that to you? What if it feels colder to me?
Feels like I could cook an egg on the ground if I.
I mean, it's
cracked it
hot.
outside.
I mean, it's hot. There's no question about it. They just do it to freak people out. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's just a way to get more clicks and likes.
that's right. Yeah, I mean, because you're telling me that it's 95 degrees in the summertime, Ken.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what? But if you tell me, ooh, but it feels like it's 104.
I better go home.
Oh, is that a way to get home? Now, hold on a second.
Well, remember Governor Kathy Hochul up there in New York, first day of summer. She's telling everybody, stay inside. Oh, stay inside.
Stay indoors. It's too hot up here. That's what they pick on us. When we get a little ice on the ground, they love to pick on us. But you know what? We don't give it back to them enough. When it gets to 90 degrees up there, they start freaking out.
Yeah, 90 degrees. It's public emergency.
Oh, man.
Okay, we do have a question from the chat I need to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Does a puppy die when we say Friday Junior?
No, nobody says that. No, nobody says that.
It's Friday Junior.
Friday Junior as in a smaller version of Friday?
Yeah, it's Thursday. Friday Junior.
Why is Friday so special?
Because it's almost the weekend.
Uh-huh. But it's not the weekend.
It's not.
Then why don't we say Saturday Eve for Friday?
Then that would probably kill a puppy, according to you.
Well, it probably so, but you understand my logic. It would make more sense to call Friday Eve, or rather call Saturday.
Matt, kill the puppy.
Friday Eve. Make more sense.
I remember growing up. The only good thing about Friday night was the Dukes of Hazzard. And I didn't have to go to work Saturday morning. But Thursday nights that's when the best TV was.
Oh, man. Well, there was
You
I
had the
remember.
A-Team. Remember the A-Team?
And then on NBC, it was Cosby Show for a while?
Yeah, that was later.
And then, but you're right. Yeah, earlier there was the A-Team on Thursday. I missed the A-Team.
And the Fall Guy. Remember Steve Austin?
Was he on Thursdays?
I think that was Thursdays.
Wednesday was always the big day when I was a kid. Had y'all ever watch Modern Family?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love Modern
That
Family.
was Wednesdays. ABC had a killer Wednesday lineup for a while.
But Thursday, I remember it started with Cosby Show, Alf. I remember Alf.
Yeah.
And Family Ties.
Family Ties, yeah. One of them was a Republican.
Alex P. Keaton was a Republican.
Was
That's
that
right.
Michael J. Fox?
That was Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Alex P. Keaton. He was a Republican.
Yeah.
And because his parents were old hippies.
Yeah, they were old hippies.
And then Cheers rolled into Thursday night, I want to say.
Thursday, yeah.
And I remember Night Court, too. That
Night
was if
Court.
I got to stay up late.
Did y'all see the reboot?
I heard the
with
reboot sucked.
Yeah, it was horrible. I never saw the original series, but the reboot was terrible.
The original was funny at the time, and I've watched some old episodes, and it doesn't quite hold up the way that some shows do. But anyway, yeah, so Thursday, that was great TV. And then eventually Thursday night became Seinfeld.
Yeah, it became must-see TV.
Oh, man.
Friends, I believe, was a Thursday night show.
Yeah, it's Friends and then Seinfeld.
You know the amazing thing, and I'm a big, big fan of Seinfeld. The amazing thing is the shows hold up. The humor holds up.
It's like the Andy Griffith Show.
Oh, it will never get unfunny.
Nope.
But the setups are so 90s specific. Almost everything that show is about could be overcome with the invention of the cell phone. You know what I mean? Almost every
never thought of it that way.
Like the episode of Friends where Chandler's stuck during that blackout in the bank.
cell phone.
All he needs is to call somebody on a cell phone.
You watch Seinfeld and tell me if almost every problem they find themselves in could not be overcome with a cell phone.
That's true.
I mean, right? So, but it's still funny. I mean, it's still awesome. It's still hilarious. Seinfeld, party of four. Anyway, it's Monday.
That whole episode was in the waiting room of that Chinese restaurant.
Just brilliant.
Those episodes of
Absolutely.
television, they're called box episodes, where the characters are all stuck in one location for one episode.
So brilliant.
There's some modern shows that do it as well, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You ever seen that show?
I have not.
I've heard that's good.
I've heard
Great
it's
box episode, great show all around. And then Friends did a really good one where they're getting ready.
Well, didn't they do one that you mentioned?
Chandler's stuck in a box, but the others are not.
Okay.
But they were all getting ready in the apartment for the whole episode, and that's a box episode. Yeah. So they're great episodes. Some of my favorite television is box episodes.
If you're not a fan of Seinfeld, or if you've not caught the episode, the Chinese restaurant's beautiful, and the parking garage is another one. Remember they got stuck in the parking garage, kid?
Yeah.
And Kramer's walking around with that air conditioner. And Jerry, I think it's either Jerry or George.
It's both of them.
They get caught. One of them got caught peeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Jerry tries to get out of it by saying he has a kidney disease.
Once again, cell phones. That entire thing, because they all got separated, could have been solved with
all you needed.
was a cellular telephone. All right, we need to get into a few matters that we will discuss today. Obviously, we're going to have a last word on Jeffrey Epstein in that situation. I understand that Donald Trump wants to move away from it. We're going to talk about it and get your opinion on it, because I'm most impressed and I am informed as to how we are moving forward by getting your opinion on the matter, and we will discuss 615-737-9986. Yesterday was it seems like a lot longer. If it's just me, then I'll admit it's just me. You tell me on the super text line or on the phone lines. But yesterday was a year since there was an attempt on Donald J. Trump's life in Butler, Pennsylvania. A year. It's been 366 days. Just over 1 year since Butler Township held a political rally where Donald J. Trump spoke to a throng of thousands in a field in Butler, Pennsylvania, where Thomas Matthew Crooks reportedly earlier in that day asked his father if he could borrow his rifle to go to the hunting range, left the home in his middle-class suburb, and headed to a Butler County farm field where he attempted to assassinate the President of the United States of America. We will talk with, or the once and future President of the United States of America. He was a candidate at the time. We will speak to Brink Fiddler, our good man, who is a part of Defend Systems, obviously owner of Defend Systems. Brink has broken down more crime scenes. He has broken down more shooting scenarios such as this than any of us. It is what, in part, he does for a living. He will speak to us at 5:05 about breaking down that scene, what went wrong, why what happened, and what answers still, or I should say, what answers have been given and what questions still remain 366 days later. It seems like 5 years. We have packed so much in to the last 365 days. I mean, just imagine. It was 366 days ago where those shots rang out. Joe Biden was still the Democrat candidate for president of the United States at that time. They removed Joe Biden a little while later and replaced him with Kamala Harris. We have the entire election cycle. Consider the 6 months that have gone down since Donald Trump was sworn in as the 47th president of the United States of America. You know what? Much to the chagrin of Tucker Carlson, I'm going to celebrate those successes that have happened over this first 6 months of his presidency. Apparently, Tucker doesn't want us doing that. Tucker wants us demanding more or whatever. Tucker has gone off his nut, by the way, and I'm not afraid to say that. And I understand some of you are great Tucker fans, and I have considered myself a great Tucker fan over the past, but that doesn't mean that my attitude about somebody can't change. And here's what you have to ask yourself. Tucker Carlson interviewed the president of Iran, and he justified that interview because most of us were like, he's just going to lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. And he justified it by saying, but we all have ears, and we can all digest it, and we can all determine for ourselves what we take away from it. Has Tucker told us what he took away from it? No, he hasn't. Why? Because he knows it was full of, well, anyway. But I'm going to celebrate those 6 months that Donald Trump has been into office. And have we accomplished everything? No, we're far from it. But we're on our way to getting a better America out of the deal, in my opinion. All right, so just today, and I want to update you on what's going on today. We'll take a short time out and get to your telephone calls and get to some of your comments. The Supreme Court of the United States has now cleared the way, this happening this afternoon, breaking news of sorts, cleared the way for the Education Department to fire many in its workforce. That happening earlier this afternoon. It's a move that advances President Donald Trump's plan to dismantle the Department of Education wholesale. The High Court made the decision in McMahon versus State of New York. It was issued in a 6-3 ruling along ideological lines. I love the fact that mainstream media like to tell us it's along ideological lines when it's a Republican majority. They rarely do that if it's a Democrat majority in the high court, but it's not a Democrat majority right now, thank God. It arose from a lawsuit brought by 20 Democrat-led states who asked the court to halt the Education Department's plan to lay off half of its employees and eventually shutter the department altogether. We will discuss this huge victory on the heels of an 8-1 decision last week that was in Donald Trump's favor, giving him the ability to, generally speaking, lay people off from executive branch departments, which he obviously has control over. Thankfully, there are members of the United States Supreme Court that still believe in the Constitution of the United States of America and understand their role within said same, and we saw that demonstrated today. We will discuss. We'll talk about the 7th Congressional District race. We have all of the candidates invited on the show, and I'll tell you where we are on that. Plus, in just a second, a big Gloria Johnson update. That's where I'm going to tell you in a minute we need the horn. You should know what the horn is. It's just a horn. It's a trumpet. And it's our big breaking news trumpet. We have a big old breaking news trumpet. And it's and the breaking news trumpet goes, Jackson, it goes like this. You ready? It goes like this. Bam, 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 bam. That's what it does. So we'll have the big breaking news.
We'll work on that.
Coming up momentarily on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Glad to have you with us 23 after the hour. Hang in. So if you head down Franklin Way, I invite you to stop in to Savory Spice. Holly and David are the owners of Savory Spice, and odds are you'll either see Holly or David in the store. They have great people with great knowledge of various spices. They have all types of spices. If you're looking for something special for a recipe, if they don't have it, and odds are, I would suggest 95% of the time, 98% of the time, as exotic as it may be, they're going to have the spice you're looking for because they simply have a better selection than anyone else. But if they don't, they can get it, most certainly. You know what I love about locally owned Savory Spice? Recently, Holly said, she called me up and she said, Matt, about 25% of my inventory, my vendors are charging me less for these delicious, high-quality spices. I'm passing those savings along to my customers. Would you let them know that they can get about a quarter of everything that we sell for a little less than they did previous? I mean, it's so nice passing those savings along to you. Friends, if it's seasonings, salts, peppers, different types of blends, international flavors, they got it at Savory Spice. Go by and see them just off the square in Franklin. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only Savory Spice.
Well, the U.S. Supreme Court clears the way for more of the Trump agenda. We'll tell you about it at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Trump was on fire this afternoon in Washington, D.C. I've got several clips you need to hear if you've been at work or out of pocket. We've got them for you on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll speak with Courtney Johnston, a Metro City Councilor. That would be the Nashville City Metro. Coming up at 4:05 to talk about developments over there and recent developments involving Justin Jones and we had Ely and Omar in the neighborhood over the weekend. We'll talk about that. But I have to spend the next minute or so cleaning things up. By the way, you know what I do? Y'all think I'm just in here picking goobers during the commercial breaks? You know what I was doing during the commercial breaks?
What were you doing, Brother Murphy?
I was reading this. This fella has 7 reasons why the Japanese get better sleep than Americans.
Well, I'll be.
It really has to do with the temperature in the bedroom and what they sleep on. You know what the average bedroom temperature in Japan is, according to this fella?
78.
55.
55?
Yeah, that's what he says. He said the average American temperature is 68 to 72. Apparently, we keep it way too warm. And then he goes on to say that we sleep on, our beds are too soft. They need to be firmer, which I don't necessarily disagree with. All right, a couple of cleanups. Ken, one of them's yours.
Yes, sir.
But it was understandable.
Okay.
Several folks say, hey, fall guy, Lee Majors.
Yeah, Lee Majors.
You said Steve Austin.
Steve Austin.
Who was the other?
He was $6 million man.
Oh, yeah, but same guy. Lee Majors, same deal. Oh, I love, man, what I wouldn't do for that truck.
Oh, yes. That was a great truck.
I would give Jackson Williams pinky toes for that truck.
Yeah.
I really would.
Had a roll bar.
Oh, man.
Lights on top of them.
Oh, so good. Such a cool truck. You don't remember that truck. Look up Fall Guy truck. You'll see what we're talking. You'd give your own pinky toe, Jackson.
I wouldn't give my own pinky toes for you to have the truck unless I got privileges.
Okay. You can have privileges.
I want to drive it.
It's a deal. Let's see. Several of you are, well, and let me clean one more thing up. We'll go to news. I should correct myself. I don't do this very often because I don't make mistakes very often.
No, sir.
Hi. Okay, I spoke way too broadly when I said every Seinfeld episode. People are hitting me up with Seinfeld episodes that would not have changed with cell phones. Like, hey, Murphy, what about the Ass Man episode? Okay.
That was a good
$1 million to 1 shot, Doc. $1 million to 1 shot. Fusilli Jerry. Just so good.
Estelle Costanza thought Kramer was making a move on her.
Stopped short! That's my move! Mr. Costanza. What do you do? That's my move!
Oh.
Wasn't that's the same one with the counterclockwise swirl, right?
I think so, yes.
They did the move. And then the end of it, Kramer looks at him and says, so you're the ass man.
And he winks.
And the guy gives him the old wink. So, no, every episode would not have altered. But a lot of them, you will be surprised the number of them that would fall apart if there was cell phone technology. Anyway, it's past time. It's time for the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Just in from our nation's capital, the U.S. Supreme Court will allow mass layoffs at the Education Department, impacting about 1,400 employees. President Trump announcing an arms deal with NATO, where the U.S. would supply Patriot systems and other arms to Ukrainian forces through NATO. The president making the announcement alongside NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House. He said the U.S. will be selling the arms. NATO will handle distribution. And in Middle Tennessee, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is asking for drivers who were driving on I-24 early Saturday morning to share dash cam video in hopes of identifying a suspect in the deadly shooting of a 22-year-old man. His family says Noah Taylor was gunned down on his way to work. He was just 10 minutes from there. Authorities say they need anyone with any dash cam video from I-24 between I-840 and Bell Road between 7 and 8 o'clock Saturday morning to come forward. It could help them identify the shooter. A nightmarish discovery in Victorville, California. We get that from ABC's Alex Stone.
Deputies in San Bernardino County were called to an AM/PM convenience store on Sunday after someone reported finding a teddy bear made out of human skin. Where the fur of a teddy bear would be, that was human skin, according to the report. The coroner's office took it over, but now an artist in South Carolina says no need for concern that he made what's called a human skin teddy bear and that skin is actually latex. His company specializes in horror special effects and haunted attractions. He shipped a bear to a customer in Victorville last week, and it somehow got placed at that convenience store. Alex Stone, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, looking around the downtown loop, I'm seeing the usual buildup northbound 65 to the south leg. North leg, northbound over to 24. That's bumper to bumper. Got an accident right after Spence Lane on I-40 westbound. That's backing things up. And then eastbound 24, you got the brake tapping going on just past I-440. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Friends, Matt Murphy here talking about the Glock store and why it is my favorite Second Amendment superstore. I'll give you a few reasons. Number one, they have the most incredible selection of Glock handguns that I've ever seen in my life. I've been to many, many gun stores. I've been a gun owner all of my life, really, since my childhood with my grandfather. He bought me my first gun, my 12-gauge shotgun, when I was 12 years old. And since then, I've owned a lot, and I've never seen a selection of Glock handguns like they have at the Glock store. And after all, you might expect that. It's incredible. Number two, the people there are not just Glock experts, and you need that level of expertise. They're also aficionados. They're Glock owners themselves. They love talking about it. They love talking about accessorizing Glock performance, and they can talk to you on any level, right? And this is important to me in a gun store because there are people that go into a gun store that they are experts themselves in the guns that they absolutely love. Well, they can talk to you on your level, but if you've never held a gun in your life and you're new to the game and you're there because I've advised you that you need to protect yourself, they can talk to you like a human being, too. They can talk to you on your level, too. And number three, and this goes right along with number two, the customer service is just incredible. I mean, if their door's open for business, for example, they have a gunsmith on duty that's ready to install your enhancement parts, your performance parts for free while you wait. It's all about the customer service. It's all about the knowledge and expertise. At the Glock store, 3 of the many. Glock store, minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Glock store. Allow me a moment to talk to all of you business owners in the listening audience. We have a lot of people that own businesses in our audience, small, medium, and large size. And most of you might have an IT department, or most of you might have a company that you work with that does your IT and your computer technologies and your cybersecurity for you. I would suggest that if you've not called Michael at Alpha and Omega, you're doing it wrong. No offense to you and your business, but they're the best when it comes to computer technology. They're simply better than anyone else when it comes to helping manage cybersecurity than I found in this community. And he's been doing it, Michael and his team, since 1998. Let me give you a couple of facts. 70% of cyber attacks target small to medium-sized businesses. If you're a business owner and you do not have adequate cybersecurity, never believe that you're too small for an attack. You're not. Most of the attacks happen to you. We just don't hear about them on television or radio because you're a smaller business. You just hear about those big boys. Well, it's time to get into the mindset of getting protected because the fear of cybersecurity is real, and you need to manage that fear through cyber protection. Do that with Alpha and Omega. Online at ANO.net. That's ANO.net, or call 615-784-0096. 784-0096. Tell them I sent you. All right. Super Talk 99.7 WT and Courtney Johnson coming up at the 4 o'clock hour on the Matt Murphy Radio Show. We have Brink Fiddler in the 5 o'clock hour to discuss Butler, Pennsylvania, what we know, what we do not know, what remains to be seen. I will ask the obligatory question of Brink, and I know he will hate it because I've had many of these conversations with him in the past. He breaks down issues involving preparedness, issues involving security or lack thereof, and I always ask him about motivation, and he always tells me the motivation does not matter, the methods do. And I understand that, but we'll have that discussion coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll also take your telephone calls on said same. 615-737-9986. We'd love to hear from you. I hope you're watching on YouTube TV. If you're not, give us a watch. Say hello to us. Give us the old thumbs up. You know, we haven't done this in a while, but I happen to know I have not seen a price point. Ken, what does it cost to watch on the YouTube TV?
Absolutely nothing, boys. Yes.
Nothing. The man said nothing. That's zero. Zilch, nada, goose egg, will not cost you a thing. Now, you might have to deal with the occasional commercial if you're not on premium, but whatever. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good price point.
Well, and we're real good looking. I mean, real good looking.
I mean, look there. Jackson, put yourself on the screen there, buddy.
Hey.
Look at us.
Look at him. Look at those two fine specimens of men, Weaver and Williams.
Man.
Weaver and Williams sounds like a law firm that I would never... Weaver and Williams, we've got your back. We got to get a slogan for Weaver and Williams. Weaver and Williams, don't let them screw you. That's a good one.
We've got you. Don't let them screw you. Come to Williams and Weaver.
Ooh, Ken put my name first.
Oh, I like Will.
Well, just in case things go wrong.
It's a quick exit for Weaver.
So I was originally a pre-law.
Williams and Williams, formerly Williams and Weaver.
I was originally a pre-law major in college. I can firmly say I would have been the worst lawyer of all time.
You think so?
Oh, I wouldn't have won a case.
I love those. Man, the commercials that they do, boy. Oh, those ambulance chasers. And I'm not talking bad about any of them.
No.
I guess you got to make a living, but.
My favorite one was the late, great Bart Durham whenever he shows up with a sack lunch for somebody.
Oh, man.
Giving somebody a sack lunch.
Bart's son does them now on his own,
Yeah.
right? Because when I first came to town, it was Bart, and I forget his son's name.
Blair.
Is it Blair? Okay, Blair. Yeah. Bart and Blair. And then Bart has since passed, and his son Blair's carrying on but he would bring sack lunches?
Yeah, he'd take clients a sack lunch.
Good for him. That's awesome.
Sometimes you need a snack.
I remember one time the late, great Phil Valentine. Phil Valentine said, "I'm still waiting on my sack lunch."
I mean, yeah. I mean, where's our sack lunch? That's pretty solid. I met, what's his first name? Ponzi. His last name's Ponzi.
Yeah. What is his first name?
He's all over television. His last name's Ponzi. I met him.
I know who you're talking about.
I met him in Hendersonville.
Is it Mike?
It's Ponzi Law.
Ponzi Law Firm.
And I'm thinking, and he's a Nashville native. He's been here forever. But I'm thinking, man, you better be a good lawyer if your name's Ponzi.
Yeah.
Gotta be able to get out of some-
Ponzi law. That's it.
Ponzi, and I say Ponzi. Yeah, it's not Ponzi, like Ponzi scheme. It's Ponzi.
Yeah.
But
Then you got the boys over at Morgan and Morgan.
oh yeah, we the
Morgan and Morgan and
for
Morgan
the
and
people.
Morgan.
For the people.
For the people.
For the people, Morgan. Back down in Alabama, we had Alexander Shannara. I think he's creeping up into Tennessee.
Really?
Oh, he's all over Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, man, oh, man. Anyway, we love them all. We love them all.
Yes,
but, yeah, but I don't think any of them would hold a candor to Weaver and Williams.
Don't let them screw you.
No,
Let
Williams
us
and
do it.
Weaver. Williams and Weaver, just in case things go south.
Weaver and Williams. We're cheaper than the other fellas. We take a lot, but we take less.
Williams and Weaver.
We may not win, but you'll get a sack lunch.
We're going to come up with a nice slogan for you boys. Weaver and Williams, we whoop ass and take names. These are now coming from the Super Text line.
No, it's Williams and Weaver. I got to have an off ramp in case things
Okay,
go
well,
bad. You heard
Ken,
what?
what's
You
gonna
heard
go
what
wrong?
Jackson just said.
That's a deal breaker. Ken Weaver says, no deal. He's not going to become a lawyer with you, Jackson, if your name doesn't go first.
I will be the face of the business. I'm okay with that.
Yes, sir.
I don't think I'd do well in prison, but, I could defend myself.
You do a lot better than me in prison, I'll tell you that.
Where there's a will, there's a Williams and Weaver. Y'all could be like estate attorneys.
Weaver exiting.
Man.
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. It's Michael Ponce. Michael Ponce.
Yeah, Michael
And by the
Ponce.
way, Michael and I judged Chili Cook-Off together, along with the redheaded stranger, Pamela Furr, and many other. And nicest guy you ever want to meet. I mean, a fabulous guy. Loved it talking with him. And man, oh man, I love his commercials. I mean, because he gets right to the chase. I mean, have you been hit by an 18-wheeler? I'll get you paid.
Well, and he shows that car flipping over on I-24.
Well, I mean, you got to show what you know. I mean, we know it happens. Are you going to just sit there and take it? Or are you going to call Michael?
I've got the slogan, Murphy.
What is it?
When you're in trouble, call WW. Double W.
Work on it.
I got it.
Yeah, are you
That's
working
way to
on
go,
it?
Brother Jackson.
You're working on it. You
workshopping
think you're just brainstorm it. That's okay. It's no bad ideas. When you're in trouble, you call W and W.
Maybe just one W.
When there's some trouble, you.
When something's troubled you, call double W.
And our spokesperson will talk just like this, like he's out of the 40s.
No representation is the quality of legal services represented by the quality of legal services of other attorneys. I used to have to say that really fast down in Alabama. They had a disclaimer. No representation is made that the quality of legal service provider is superior to the quality of legal service provided by other attorneys. And I'm like, you just made that representation. You just said you're better than everyone, and now I got to say that you're not.
Brother Jay St. Clair, he could help us.
Oh, man. He could help you. He would help you out and encourage you to stay in the radio profession.
Well, you know what would be on our billboard? A crayon and a check for $400.
Oh, man.
I thought it was $140.
140, something like that. He used to say 400, but then he realized that you could file a claim in civil court in Tennessee for 140. So it's actually less. So no, that's right. You got a crayon, got $140. We'll win your case.
We'll try to win your case. Let's not make promises we can't keep.
But the crayon's not going to be orange, Brother Jackson. It's going to be Sooner Red, baby.
It's SEC Media Days week. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big week. All right, so we got a Gloria update real quick. Let's go to the Gloria update. Gloria Johnson update, and we'll get to Donald Trump in a moment. So here's the deal. If you were listening last week, you know that I desire to speak to all comers. I want to talk to people that I disagree with because I think that furthers dialogue and it helps you galvanize in your mind where you are on any number of issues. I believe that Representative Gloria Johnson is a dishonest actor when it comes to some of the things she does online, on social media, etc. She spouts off of the mouth. She says things that she can't possibly defend, and I want to incentivize her to come on the radio show. This was all inspired by her going after our good friend, Congressman Tim Burchett, who appears often on the radio show, and therefore I have attempted to encourage her, Gloria Johnson, to appear on this broadcast. 100,000 watt FM radio station. One of the most, and I'm not spouting off from the hip, and I'm not trying to be braggadocious. This radio station is one of the most listened to news talk platforms in the United States of America. In the United States of America. And we thank the greats that came before me. I am slowly destroying the brand. I understand that. But we thank the greats like the Brian Wilsons and the Phil Valentines and all of the rest. It is one of the platforms that you want to be on to speak to the people in Middle Tennessee. So Gloria Johnson claims that she wants to get to these red folks and tell them how wrong they are. Well, the way to do that would be come on our radio show, and she will not.
Yeah, that would be a surefire way to do it.
Right? I mean, if you want to disabuse us of our opinions when you think we're wrong, this is the platform to do it. And she won't do it. So I asked Tim Burchett last Monday if he would be willing to come on and have a nice discussion with Gloria about the issue of Medicaid as it pertains to the big, beautiful law that was passed the week previous. Tim readily agreed. Gloria did not respond. So we thought we'd sweeten the pot. Over the course of the last week, I contributed the initial seed money of $1,000. I agreed to donate $1,000 to a non-political charity of Gloria Johnson's choosing. Non-political charity of her choosing. All she has to do is come on the show for an hour and talk about Medicaid. You, the listener, increased that in 1 week to $4,000. So the donations are up to $4,000.
Wow.
All you have to do, Gloria, is come on and speak your truth, as Democrats like to say. Speak your truth, Gloria, about Medicaid.
Your truth.
Yeah, just speak your truth about what this is going to do to poor families in the Middle Tennessee area. And we will have that discussion, and you'll receive a donation in your name of $4,000 to any non-political charity of your choosing. So I took the next step. We threw this out on social media platforms. Gloria has become aware of it, I am certain, because people have been hitting her up. But I called her office today, her office in the, I guess it's in Cordell Hull.
Yeah.
Well, I called that office, and I spoke to a lovely assistant of Gloria's. I guess this is Gloria's personal person, because she answered the phone and it said Gloria Johnson's office. This is Kelsey. How can I help you? And I talked to Kelsey, and it was a very nice conversation. And I explained to Kelsey that we really wanted to have Gloria on the show. And she said that either she or Gloria would be giving me a call back. So that is our update. We have made now internet and now telephone communication with Representative Gloria Johnson. And we can't wait for her to take us up on her offer. This is not in any way to submarine her. It's not in any way, I mean, we're on the up and up. I disagree with her on her views on Medicaid, but I want to hear her viewpoint. And all she has to do is come on the show and share it. Let's see if she does. With that in mind, we've also got an Epstein update. I'll tell you what Donald Trump had to say about it over the weekend. He says he and Dan Bongino are just fine. We're all good. I'll tell you, I'll share the clip with you coming up in just a moment, and your telephone calls, plus Courtney Johnson coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. It's all to come. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, folks, Men of Valor is a wonderful organization that I so recommend you become a part of through volunteerism. They have volunteer slots available to you. You can volunteer on their campus. You can also volunteer by going into the prison systems with qualified folks at Men of Valor and help people through Bible study, through counsel, and to bring them to a life of God, frankly, and that's going to create dynamics by which when they come out of the system, they are not takers, they are givers, and they do not offend again. In other words, they don't become recidivists, repeat offenders. I want you to remember the date. These tickets are yet to go on sale, but I want to remind you of this date, October 1st. It's going to be a big day for Men of Valor. It's the second annual Men of Valor Gala. You can join them for an elegant evening of dinner, live music, participate in live and silent auctions. Listen, folks, registration is yet to open. I just want to make you aware that it is coming. Save the date of October 1st. It starts at 5:30. It's going to be at the Factory in Franklin. Tim and Demi Lee Tebow will be the guests of honor. Tim and Demi Lee, new parents, it's my understanding. They'll be there October 1. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor for the event, the email is alex@movministry.com. That's alex@movministry.com. And save the date, October 1st, for Men of Valor. Go to movministry.com.
President Trump announces a deal to ship weapons to Ukraine, request for video in a deadly I-24 shooting, and the Trump administration announcing a change to the ice cream industry. All this and more at 4 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you so much, Ken Weaver. Matt Murphy with you until 7 o'clock. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show, to include Ken Weaver, newscast twice an hour and when it breaks. Jackson Williams behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as possible. And then, of course, a little bit later on, Brink Fiddler will stop by. And in just a few moments, we have Courtney Johnston coming up. Courtney is a Nashville Metro City Councilor, one of the sane folks over there, and she comes on from time to time to give us an update of what's going on in Davidson County. And you know what? We'll talk about this odd. I'm not even sure what it was. I heard it was a town hall. Then I heard it was a fundraiser. Those two things are not the same. It was held at Antioch High School, which is odd in and of itself. It was an event to include Representative Justin Jones and Congressional Representative Elian Omar, who both of whom made appearance. Gloria Johnson was there, apparently. I was not. So we'll talk to Courtney about that, amongst other things, coming up in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, some of the breaking news this afternoon, Ken's been telling you about it, and we have as well. The Supreme Court made a ruling on last week. The ruling involved the executive branch of government broadly and their ability to cut from the executive branch. Today's ruling, the Supreme Court cleared the way for the Education Department to fire its workforce and ultimately to shut down broad swaths of the Department of Education. It was a lawsuit brought by 20 Democrat-led states who begged the court to halt the Education Department's plans to lay off half of its employees and shutter altogether. And the Supreme Court said no. Obviously, the President of the United States of America is the CEO of the executive branch, and as CEO, he can make these decisions of his choosing. The American people have spoken, and frankly, this was a big deal when it came to the political campaign. Donald Trump appointed, remember, when Donald Trump appointed or nominated, I should say, Linda McMahon for appointment to the Department of Education, he did so under the premise that she would be in charge of shuttering it. She has made no bones about that either. So we will discuss that throughout the course of the afternoon. That's some breaking news going on right now on Super Talk 99.7. WTN. And then there's this, and we will not get into this necessarily with Courtney, but a little bit later on we will discuss Donald Trump over the weekend. He originally posted it on his Truth Social page, but obviously it's getting a lot of play elsewhere, where Donald Trump said, "What's going on with my boys?" And in some cases, gals, they're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA. And I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. We'll tell you a little more about what Donald Trump said, and I have a few things to say. Last word, if you will. I don't know if it's last word or not, but this is not just a matter of justice for those victimized by Jeffrey Epstein and his cohorts. It is a matter of promises made, promises kept. It's a matter of transparency. And Donald Trump seems to, I understand, and we'll talk about this. I understand why he wants to move on from it. I understand why he wants to focus on other things. I get it. But I also understand why people like me are hung up on it. Because you have to do more than to tell me to trust you to make me trust the FBI or the CIA or any of the other intelligence gathering agencies. That is to come on the Matt Murphy Show. We are pleased you are here, whatever time you're able to give us. Thank you for it. Here comes Ken Weaver in the newscast on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. From our nation's capital today, the U.S. Supreme Court will allow mass layoffs at the Education Department, impacting about 1,400 employees. President Trump has announced an arms deal with NATO, where the U.S. would supply Patriot systems and other arms that NATO would then give to Ukrainian forces. The president making the announcement alongside NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House. He said the U.S. will be selling the arms. NATO will handle the distribution.
The way the president described this is that there would be sanctions on Russia after 50 days if there is no ceasefire in the war in Ukraine. 100% tariffs on Russia. He described them, though, as secondary tariffs, which would suggest that that also would be targeting countries that do business with Russia. Secondary tariffs meaning, the outer circle of those countries that are working with Russia, doing energy trading, things like that, oil and gas.
That is Karen Travers reporting. Here in Middle Tennessee, a family in Smyrna is heartbroken after their son was shot and killed while driving on I-24 Saturday morning, pleading with the public for any information that will help find the suspect. Channel 4's Courtney Allen says Noah Taylor's mom lives just 15 minutes away from where he died. She and the rest of the family are devastated.
I don't even remember all the words that they said. I just realized I had lost my son. And we had been hearing about this accident all day and 24 being shut down, and never was there a thought that could have been my child that had died.
Well, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office now asking anyone who is driving on I-24 near the Waldron Road exit Saturday morning between 7 and 8 to please check any car cameras that they may have and share any video that could help identify the suspect responsible. The Trump administration has announced a change to the ice cream industry. By 2028, ice cream makers will eliminate certain artificial colors from their products. These dyes include yellow 5, red 40, green 3, and blue 1. The FDA also promoting food dyes that are made from natural resources. Some studies have suggested that these dyes are linked to certain health problems, but nothing conclusive has been shown in the research. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, still seeing the buildup around the downtown area, especially if you are east and westbound. The east loop downtown, same goes for the west loop. Then if you're eastbound 440, a lot of brake tapping over to 24. And then that brake tapping continues on 24 down to about Briley Parkway. We've got a crash reportedly blocking the left lane. This is going to be 40 westbound after Spence Lane. Another one on the right shoulder in Rivergate, 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. And in Antioch, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound past Harding Place. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us this Monday. It's July 14. It is hot outside. We'll just give you the actual temperature here on this show, but suffice it to say that it's probably feels a little bit hotter than it actually is out of doors. Regardless, over the course of throughout Middle Tennessee, wherever you might be listening to the show, odds are it's pretty steamy where you are, and I hope that you're in some form of conditioned air. It's episode 841 of our proceedings together, and we always look forward to your telephone calls and your comments on the super text line. The number's the same, 615-737-9986, 615-737-9986. It's always a pleasure to welcome in our next guest. I mean, she's like family on the radio show. She is the sanest Nashville Metro counselor you're going to find anywhere, and I only say that because she's willing to come on my show.
Because I'm sitting here in front of you.
Well, I mean, I can't really think of a saner one. I can think of some that are normal. There's only like 4 of those, but
I just told the guy.
Courtney Johnston is with us, by the way. That's your name.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I just told the guy that let me in the door, I was like, I feel like I'm here so much, somebody needs to give me a key card so I don't have to constantly text Matt saying, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here.
Text me and complain about the heat.
Yeah, it's either blazing hot like it was a minute ago, or it was raining the last time I was here.
I won't say complain about the heat. I just pull up and say, hey.
Yeah, read it. Read it.
At 3:35 today, I got this. Don't forget to send someone to let me in before 4 o'clock. It's too hot.
It was very, very. It was very prima donna of me, but I feel like I have been sweating for 3 weeks straight.
You don't want to glisten.
I'm just hot
it's
constantly.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
yeah. So
it's what we get out of Middle Tennessee.
But a little prima donna. As I sent it, I was like,
So speaking of prima donnas, let's talk about Justin Jones.
Oh, God. Okay.
I mean, I don't know of a bigger prima donna in the world of politics.
I have never
Justin.
met him, actually, so all I know is what I see on TV.
And I mean, I judge from what I see and his performance art on social media and some of the things he does in the General Assembly. But you know local politics as well as anyone. What he's bringing in is Justin prepping for a congressional run. I mean, what happened this past weekend? And for those that don't know, Representative Jones, he's in District 52. I think that's right. He's Nashville. And you say that the Antioch High School is a part of, Cane Ridge is part of his district?
I'm almost positive that Cane Ridge High School is part of his district.
It's in Antioch.
Yeah.
And so not to be confused with Antioch High School. I don't want to confuse people. There's an Antioch High School, there's Cane Ridge.
Cane Ridge High School, yeah.
And he brought in Representative Elian Omar to what was billed originally as a town hall. And I'm like you, that the verbiage confused me because I'm thinking town halls are typically, if Courtney Johnston met with her constituents in your district in Nashville, that would be a town hall. Come, ask questions, hear what Courtney has to say about things, offer your concerns, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But when you bring someone from Minnesota or wherever.
Yeah, the dynamics change a little bit, in my opinion, especially in the context of how the Democrat Party has decided and been very vocal about how the 5th Congressional District is now on their radar because they think that Andy Ogles is vulnerable is the terminology that they use. And so this, to me, makes perfect sense that they're going to start bringing in some big names, some firepower to do some fundraising in order to support whoever that Democrat nominee ends up being. That makes sense to me. What I objected to, and actually this information came to me from another Democrat, but so just my thing is, if I have a community meeting and I have a church that allows me to use their venue, if Justin Jones was using the school by himself for his own town hall, that doesn't bother me. When you have a campaign event, which is what I believe this is my personal opinion. Once Ilhan Omar became a part of it, it is a campaign event, and taxpayer dollars should not be used for that. So I was told he had not paid for the rental because the schools do rent their space out in certain times. Security was not paid for, and all of that is actually still true. I saw the contract today. He is supposed to pay. He has not paid quite yet.
He's supposed to pay for the facility?
For the facility, which is a nominal fee. It's like $232 or something. They should probably revisit that. But anyway, so he has not paid that yet. So that was true. He hadn't paid. That's true. Is he going to? The fee was not waived. I'll say that. So a little bit of gray area there. He did bring his own personal security, but also U.S. Capitol Police requested of MNPD their services, which have not yet been reimbursed. I don't know if that's going to be reimbursed. They're in discussions, but regardless, there were a lot of resources that were put forth for that. And I'm not saying that somebody said, why are you trying to cancel it? I'm not trying to cancel it. I think everybody should have a town hall and be able to speak with their representatives and all that. But a town hall and a campaign event are two different things.
Yes.
And what the taxpayers subsidize needs to be more highly scrutinized. That's my point, period.
No, 100%. And one of the reasons I wanted to discuss it with you, because I'm right there with you, that if you are in a space that is being made available to you for the benefit of your constituency, regardless of their political affiliation, to come to sit freely. They are asked nothing of them, but they get an opportunity to speak to their representative, whomever that might be, and ask questions of. And it's my understanding that the questions, they answered like 5 or 8 of them right at the end of the program, and it was a very short and small part of the program. But be that as it may, I mean, that's a town hall, right? And that should be a part of constituent services. I would still... I don't know where the line is drawn regarding like personal security. I think some within political circles think so much of themselves that they demand that they have certain security apparatus. I'm thinking of one Republican actually right now that does this all the time that I think is absurd, but they have security around them. But whatever makes them feel comfortable.
And if they want to pay for that, great.
That's fine. But
right.
But for the taxpayer to be
correct. That's a whole different story.
It's a different ball of wax. And then I want to know, I mean, I would assume that if Justin is paying for Eli and Omar to come here, I would think that there's some sort of honorarium that would have paid for her travel. Where's that money coming from is my question.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's coming from his campaign coffers or if it's coming from somewhere like that, then that indicates to me that they recognize this as a fundraising event and they shouldn't be getting stuff for free.
Right. So we'll see what happens. If MNPD is reimbursed, and I've got them working on what the costs were now, and it did come from U.S. Capitol Police, which I found a little bit interesting. But anyway, they're going to figure out a way to invoice for reimbursement, I'm assuming. I will push to make sure that happens. And this is not even a partisan thing. This is just taxpayer responsibility type stuff. We need to figure that out. And then also we'll see if he pays the bill to MNPS. I mean, it's $232. I think he's got it. But we'll see. So,
well, we shine the light on it. He will pay it, I would expect. That said, should that not be more money? I mean, I don't think. I mean, let's put it this way: if I wanted to have a community-based charitable event at Cane Ridge High School, would I be charged $232? Would I gain access to that high school? I don't know.
I don't know either because I've seen the contract. I had to fill it out when I had a community meeting at Paragon Mills Elementary School 5 or 6 years ago. I don't remember who's allowed to have it and doesn't. I will say, Cane Ridge High School is quite large, and the facility that they used within the school was quite large. And I can only imagine that $232 or whatever it was less than $250, does not meet,
it doesn't pay for the AC.
It doesn't pay for the right, the AC or janitorial services or staff to come and be there. So I would encourage them to look at that.
And I would also, and honestly, because of where I'm at on my shoulder, I briefly thought about going and decided against it because I have no interest in getting into a group of people that I don't know can control themselves if they know who I am. And I'm just being honest. And if I
was you, I'd be scared too.
Well, I mean, just a matter of if I walk into that environment, the possibility of somebody getting in my face exists, and I don't want that to happen 2 weeks out of shoulder replacement surgery. That said, I would be curious if anyone was there. Was there vetting on the front end? Because you better don't tell me that it's a town hall and you're going to vet people and make sure that you're keeping conservative-minded folks or Republicans or those with maybe different ideas about how to govern out of the building. Now, maybe that didn't happen.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'd be surprised if that was what happened, to be honest with you, but maybe. But I was told that it was well attended. How many people, I don't have a clue. But I do know he went on his Instagram, and it was with he and Ilhan Omar saying, basically, if Andy Ogles isn't going to meet with his constituents, I'll meet with them around concerns about the immigration enforcement that's going on. And so, again, to me, that is you're not doing your job, so the Democrats are going to come in and do it for you. That's a campaign event.
Right. Which then begs the question, are the Democrats nationally, do you think they look at District 5
Absolutely
as a winnable district?
They've made it very clear. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can't speak for Andy. Andy and I, people that have listened to me since I came here in 2021, we have an on-again, off-again relationship. And you know what? It is what it is. But I call it like I see it, and that's just what I'm going to do. And there are some things that have happened within Andy's world that I question, and some things I think he does very well. All of that to say, any congressional Republican, I would recommend you go to these town halls. I mean, you do these town halls. I understand that there's a little bit of a fear of disruption, but I'm in favor of shining the light on the roaches. And if you understand how to comport yourself and you explain to your folks how to make sure that they're comporting themselves, let the rabble-rousers do what they do and showcase how ridiculous it is to the rest of the world.
Well, that was one of the biggest complaints that when I was running last year at this time was that he was not present in the district at all. And he doesn't hold town halls. What he calls a town hall is done virtually, where all the questions are very scripted and pre-screened, and that's not a real one-on-one with the people that elected you or that you represent, whether they voted for you or not. Since I've been elected, now granted, my council district is not anywhere near as large as a congressional district, but I pride myself on being very responsive and present in my district, and so that was one thing that we keyed in on. They're right to call that out as far as the Democrats. But again, that's not my concern. My concern was our taxpayer dollars being wisely spent, and if they are being used to subsidize a campaign, regardless if it's for a Republican or Democrat, that's not right.
Agreed.
So that was what was called out. And then it was also marketed at the same time with the Shut Down America campaign, which I find appalling, which, I showed you earlier about, disrupt traffic and call into work sick and don't buy anything and, be creative in your civil disobedience. And it's like, how is that productive for anybody? For the small businesses that depend on people buying things? For anybody that needs to get somewhere every day? I mean, we don't need roads being shut down.
It's performance art that makes them, it's an attempt to make themselves feel better and feel like they're accomplishing something. And you know what? One-day boycotts are dumb. And and I use that language because that is the best word to use. Either dumb or stupid. One-day boycotts are stupid. And if you think, and I just want to put a real fine point on it, if you think one-day boycotts are effective, then I would encourage you to look in the mirror and ask yourself if you're stupid. The only way that boycotts work is that they are long-term, that they in a long-term fashion injure the company or the entity that you're attempting to impact. See Montgomery bus boycotts of 1955, right? One-day boycotts, people buy gas the day before, the day after, and if you're not buying gas that day, anyway, I don't want to belabor the point.
Well, anybody that wants to, quote, shut down America, I think needs... Why are you here? I mean, why would anybody want to shut this country down? We live in the greatest country in the world, not perfect, but certainly the greatest country in the world, and it's just not productive to have that kind of narrative. I don't understand it. And again, I will tell you, who sent me this were Democrats that were appalled with it. So,
and you'll keep on top of it, obviously, and report back to us regarding who's paying for what.
Yeah.
I asked a fairly, and it was a private conversation, and I agreed to keep the conversation private. But my question on the immigration front to my friends who are left of center and who find some of this appalling, and they're upfront emotional about it. And I get it. They're emotional because they feel like they're tearing families apart and whatever. And I can understand being concerned with people that bought into the lie years ago, that were told a lie 15 or 20 years ago by Democrats, by the way, and they believed it. And I'm sorry for those people. But I asked these basic questions, and the person that I was talking to did not answer either of the basic questions. They nodded their head appreciatively, and I said, should there be rules to get into America? I was like, I'm not asking you what those rules should be. I'm asking you, yes or no, should there be rules? And you kind of, you have to expect a yes, because if you give me a no, then I know that you're insane. That you don't, real honestly, you don't believe in this country as a sovereign nation if you think anybody should be able to come in without any regard for a process. So if the answer to my question, should there be rules, is yes, then the next question is not what those rules should be. We can debate that. Then tell me, what do you do to the people that break them? Because right now what Democrats are telling us is that the people that break the rules, there's no punishment for them. To which I say, then why do you have the rules to begin with?
Well, I don't understand that either. When someone else was in the White House and there were deportations and there was enforcement going on, we didn't have this type of uproar. What I will say, I think a fair statement is neither party has solved this problem. We are all guilty of knowing we have an issue at the border, knowing we have an illegal immigration issue, knowing we have an issue with legal immigration and the process and how long it takes and how expensive it is and how that actually encourages illegal immigration. And that should have been fixed decades and decades ago, and both parties have failed that. So now we find ourselves in this situation where we have so many people that have been here for a really long time. I understand it's emotional. How do you fix it? It's just a nasty problem. But I think I wish that everyone would come together and figure out the right way to move forward, because there is a good answer, but we have, especially when we have all created the problem.
Our guest is Metro Councilor Courtney Johnston. I'm asked, why can't we see the person that Matt is talking to? It's because Courtney has decided that she's not going to grace us with her visual presence on the radio show today. So she said no photos, no color photography. That's right.
I thought there's a camera on me.
No, I'm just kidding. The camera's broken.
Oh.
So the camera's broken right now.
I'm like, oh, God.
Courtney didn't say any of that. I'm just messing around. We'll be back in a minute. Fellas, I want to talk to you for a moment because obviously many, many men go through the frustrations of loss of energy, feeling tired, sluggish, not like themselves. And most of you probably just assume that it's a natural part of aging. Well, some of it is. I mean, I get that, but it doesn't have to be this way, because a lot of this low energy and performance issues, these are not inevitable. Solutions do exist. That's where Tennessee Men's Clinic comes in. With no gimmicks, no guesswork, just real science and effective treatment, they can get you back in the game, men. Beware of these online fixes now. The generic pills and the overpriced and ineffective nature of those pills. Personalized treatment plans from a local urologist are available for you. 2 locations. One is in Cool Springs and the original location in Midtown. Go see these guys. They do ED treatments and other options many men don't even know exist, and they can get you back in the game. Yes, for intimacy and bedroom activities, but also for just general energy issues. Men, you don't have to live the way you're living. Let's act today by calling the Tennessee Men's Clinic. 615-208-9090. That's 208-9090, or online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Tennessee Men's Clinic.
Thank you for joining us here.
It's 4:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in our nation's capital, the U.S. Supreme Court is allowing the Trump administration to implement widespread education department layoffs. Today's ruling impacts about 1,400 employees. SCOTUS overturning a federal judge's ruling in Boston, that judge claiming the administration needed approval from Congress. President Trump has announced an arms deal with NATO where the U.S. would supply Patriot systems and other arms to NATO, who would then give them to Ukrainian forces. He threatened Russia with 100% tariffs if there isn't a deal to end the war within 50 days, and White House senior trade advisor Peter Navarro supports it.
If you compare, for example, the Vietnam War, we lost about 60,000 American soldiers there. Right now, it's in the millions. When you combine Ukraine and Russia casualties. I mean, it's got to stop.
Yeah, Navarro says he hopes the tariffs will jumpstart truce talks with Russia. Right now in Middle Tennessee, a family is pleading for answers from the public after their 22-year-old son was gunned down on I-24 over the weekend. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac says detectives want drivers to check their dash cam footage to help track down Noah Taylor's killer.
22-year-old Noah Taylor was driving along I-24 early Saturday morning when he was shot and killed near the Waldron Road exit. Now detectives are trying to track down his killer. His family tells us that he just celebrated his 22nd birthday, and now they're planning his funeral. There's a GoFundMe to help with expenses, and they are offering a $2,000 reward for tips that lead to an arrest in this case.
That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, drivers, I'm looking here 65 northbound at I-24 and 65 at north. Police say there's a crash there. And then right shoulder blocked in Rivergate, 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Looking at just pure volume, looks like eastbound 440, you got the brake tapping over to go eastbound on 24. And then northbound 65, brake tapping up to the South Loop downtown. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I have a telephone number. I have a website for you in case you need U.S. Pest in your life. Now, you might not know that you need U.S. Pest, but I'm here to advise you that you do, because bugs and the nasties that we talk about on a regular basis when we talk about U.S. Pest, they impact every home in Middle Tennessee. I mean, termites, as an example, 100% money-back guarantee on their termite prevention and corrective measures. And termites endanger every single home in Middle Tennessee, and they could endanger yours as well. Call the team that has a plan of action for you. Call the best, called U.S. Pest. J.K. and Erica Brister. Two things to know about them. They love these United States of America, and they hate bugs, as do all of their team members. Go to uspest.com for more information. That's uspest.com, or do what I did and call the telephone number and get a team member out to you, and they'll give you a complete and absolutely free consultation. That number is 590-1260. That's 590-1260 for our friends at the one and only U.S. Pest.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
Satan knows Scripture better than some Christians, and for that reason should be respected because he has centuries of experience in deceiving and tempting people. Satan understands our human nature and our motivations. Satan has the power to plant thoughts in our minds if we allow it through ignorance. John 13:2, during supper, the devil having already put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, to betray him, that being Jesus, Satan can possess non-believers as well. Luke 22:3, and Satan entered into Judas, who was called Iscariot, belonging to the number of the 12. Satan actually tries harder on Christians because Christians become his enemies when we accept Christ as our Savior. The best news, Christians share in Jesus' victory since he defeated Satan's power on the cross. John 16:33, these things I have spoken to you so that in me you may have peace. In the world you may have tribulation, but take courage. I have overcome the world. Scan to learn more.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. You can see me on the Talk TV side of things. Hello. How are you? Nice to see you. I'm nothing to look at. You cannot see Courtney Johnston on her side of things because of a faulty camera. These things happen from time to time. We'll get it repaired and get that back up and running as soon as possible. But it's our loss. I mean, but at least we get to hear your common sense and your acumen when it comes to Metro Council issues.
True.
So I asked you a minute ago, I was like, you know what you should do? You should walk, because you're going to a council committee hearing.
Yeah, we got budget and finance tonight. Or I'm on budget and finance. There's 3 committees that meet on the Monday prior to the Tuesday council meeting, which happens on the first and third Tuesday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
And so we meet because those are typically longer committees. So we meet the Monday prior because our meetings have to start at 6:30 on Tuesday.
Okay. I mean, and that even you describing it is in danger of putting me to sleep. So what happens during these committee hearings? I mean, I'm just fascinated. Like you're going after you do our show, you're going to go down and everything starts at 5-ish. Is it open to the public?
It's and it's televised and all that. There's like 3 people that watch it all the time.
Oh, sure. And what will happen? Just walk us through the life of budget and finance.
Well, the meeting will be called to order and the agenda will be read. There's going to be a lot of things that are on consent. Anybody can pull anything off of consent. There will be some things that will be contentious this afternoon. And we will discuss those things, vote on them, and then we all go home. Fun.
And then those things that you vote on in committee, they will come up before the entire body. How many people are on each committee?
That varies. Budget, I think we have like 16 possibly. So some of the committees are smaller than others, but budget and finance is probably the most important because it's dealing with your money. So,
and speaking of budget, by the way, just for those that do not know, this budget that included a property tax increase of roughly 27,
a little over 26% in the USD and 39% in the GSD. I'm sorry.
It passed.
It passed with flying colors.
So
unfortunately,
those people in Davidson County who are on a fairly tight budget, I know people who've told me they're moving.
I do too.
They're selling their homes and they're moving because they can't afford the thousands of dollars additional that they're going to be charged for property tax.
On top of the 34% tax increase that we had 5 years ago. No, I have a 101-year-old constituent of mine that has been in her house in Creve Hall since it was built in probably 1955, and they are having to move her.
It is sad.
There's a business in Berry Hill that next year would celebrate 50 years that has told me if this passes, which it did, that they would have to move. So it's definitely impacting people. And it's incredible to me that we talk about the affordability crisis. You know, we talk about we want you to stay, but we're doing everything that we can possibly do to make people leave.
Well, right. They people like Mayor Freddie, Feckless Freddie, he talks out of both sides of his mouth. And he doesn't necessarily get to a period before he does it. He talks about the necessity for additional revenues into the city budget to do all of these wonderful things that I'm going to ask you about in a second. But then he talks about his focus on affordability in Davidson County. And I can only surmise that when he says affordable housing, he means government subsidized housing. I mean, that's the only thing I can figure, because otherwise, how can you increase costs by the amount that you're increasing by 27% on a property tax front for renters and owners alike? Because we know that landlords pass those costs along. They're just trying to eat them. How can you say that you believe in affordable housing for Davidson County folks, for the people who work here to be able to live here, and then simultaneously charge them that amount more to live here?
I can't make it make sense. And this was why I worked so hard on my substitute budget, that if I really wanted to make a point, just make a point, I would have cut those increases, those massive increases, way more than I did. I really had the intent of getting it passed. And so wanting to make a difference, not a point. I still think I made the point. But it fell on completely and totally deaf ears. And the other thing that I found just really gross was after it passed, the mayor comes out on the floor, and big hugs to Chair Delisha Porterfield of the Budget and Finance Committee, it was her substitute that passed. Big hugs, pats on the backs, big grins. They're just so proud of themselves when you are really hurting the people that can't take it.
And by the way, I would note too, and these are egregious. In my opinion, the things that are happening simultaneously in Davidson County are absolutely obscene. It also largely feels like those that live in the county have either given up and expect it, or they have made preparations to get out. Because I don't begrudge city workers getting an increase in pay. I don't.
Neither do I.
I don't begrudge firefighters and police officers and other city employees getting a good increase, because we need those increases to keep good people in those jobs. But when you are doing it at the same time that you're raising the taxes by 34%, it's just it doesn't feel good. And your attitude should not be one of celebration when you're doing it that way. You shouldn't be hugging and glad-handing. What you're doing is you're telling me that you don't give a damn about 101-year-old Creve Hall lady.
Right. I I still am sort of not over it. I mean,
I'm not either.
It's taken, there's just like this decompression period where you just almost have to detoxify from it, but also the amount of vitriol and just the knives out that came against me in this budget, and the coordinated attack. When I've got members of council that are texting me as this coordinated attack that the mayor's office put together with department heads coming and talking about how there's going to be blood in the streets and the whole world's just going to collapse if her budget passes, when everyone knows that if my budget was the one that was presented by the mayor, they'd be applauding it because it still was a large increase in spending,
Right.
which I hurt my stomach. But it was just bizarre. But I've got members of council going, "This is horrible what they're doing, and it's just embarrassing." And I'm like, well,
In the meantime, one wonders, okay, so what is happening with the money? They got the transit tax increase.
yes.
What are they doing with that money? Well, I guess I should say, what are y'all doing with that money?
Well, their plan is to increase bus routes. I think that they've done that. They're supposed to be building some more bus shelters around the county. I have very little faith that ridership will increase in any meaningful way. That's just
so the
that's just a
expectation
fact.
is more routes. So I'm of the opinion. Do you agree that you don't ride the bus because you want to?
I think you ride the bus because you have to.
Correct. So I'm all about providing additional services, but they're selling this. So for those that have to ride the bus, if additional routes will help you, if additional stops, additional infrastructure will help you, great.
Great.
Wonderful
Absolutely.
for you.
You're right.
But they are selling this as if they say that this will increase ridership, and it is a load of hogwash.
I've said that from the very beginning. I don't see it. And when you ask them, what do you think the increase, like all of your studies and this and that, and when you decide, well, where are these new routes going to go and what is the frequency and what is your expectation of the return on investment? They said, oh, well, we don't have that.
Of course they don't, because there is none. So you got that tax going on, and that's going to help us with coordinated light systems and bus rider, whatever. And then you have the property tax increase. And in the meantime, we've got a couple of measures that have been on the table, I feel like, since I've been here, since you and I have been talking. And I know that we sound like a broken record, but I think I have to hang on to it because I think it's important. The Fusus technology that exists that would better give Metro Nashville police officers, the police department wants this. They want that relationship between private entities with already existing surveillance technology and the Metro Nashville Police Department. Council refuses to do that. No movement on that, right?
Zero.
LPRs.
Zero.
I understand that LPRs are debatable, but they won't even debate them. I mean, right? And in the meantime, you see surrounding communities have great effectiveness with license plate reader technology. My adopted hometown of Mount Juliet is one of the greatest examples. And then the one that I want to hit before you go that just destroys me. That the folks in the Metro Council and in the mayor's office claim that they want these relationships, these private-public relationships that benefit the community and preserve those things that make Nashville unique. And since I have been here, I have been sounding the alarm as a newbie, as a neophyte to this community over the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, that I have long believed that John Ingram has a long-term plan to take over that piece of property, that he is going to use his power, influence, and money to do so. And look, I'm not talking bad about him. He has his own interest, right? What I would like to see are city officials that are willing to step forward and tell us where we are on the Fairgrounds Speedway deal, why they have not at least brought the Bristol Motor Speedway deal, which is anybody that's read the deal says there's no way that this is not a benefit to the city. And they won't even bring it up for a vote, Courtney.
Yeah, you're right. Ever since we've been talking and ever since I've been on the council, it's been a subject matter that I constantly get questions about. And I think, in my opinion, it goes way back further, several administrations prior, that I think there was a strategic thought process around letting it just get to the point of dilapidation, which is where we are now. And so then you've got a special group of people that want to preserve that history because you're right. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so it's an important part of Nashville's history. It's an important part of Nashville and everything. We should have that contract in front of us. We should have had it last term, in fact. And I think the stadium deal took that thunder.
Well, and I've seen this rodeo before, right? I mean, there's only one Nashville Fairground Speedway. The level of history, the amount of history, it is unique to Nashville, clearly. And I feel like I know the final chapters of this book, and they are sad ones, where, God willing, 10 years from now, if I'm still on the radio in Nashville, Tennessee, there will be people that call and say, man, we used to have that Fairground Speedway. It was so much fun. I used to take my family out there on the weekends. And I'll say, we had an opportunity to make it better, and we had an opportunity for it to still be there, and now it's condos, or now it's a parking lot. And you'll never get it back. Once you lose it, once you lose those things, think Opryland. Once you lose those things that are cherished and unique to your own community through corporate growth, or you just don't get them back.
You lose the soul of what makes Nashville special and why it's always been special.
I feel, and it was voted on, 12, 13, 14 years ago. I don't remember when. I think it was 2012.
It was like 2017.
And maybe it was sooner.
Yeah, and by referendum that they said they did not want to demolish this, and so that was fantastic. Don't quote me on 2017. I know there's somebody listening that knows what year it was.
Yeah. No, well, and they'll tell us.
Yeah.
But I mean, bottom line is, we are regardless of what your position is on it, Bristol Motor Speedway has made an incredible offer to sink $130 million into the facility for a lease agreement that would not put the city of Nashville on the hook at all for any of that money. They've agreed to noise abatement programs. They've agreed to, I think, only one more weekend date a year beyond what it is now, which is 9. They've addressed every community concern imaginable, and no one in the city is getting it to the table for a vote, and it just seems odd.
And that investment would start bringing in revenue to the city instead of that facility right now, which is costing the taxpayer in maintenance every single year.
Right, and I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a NASCAR fan or not. When you bring a NASCAR race every other year to the city, I mean, not only, I mean, you're talking about dollar bills. Yeah. You're talking about a lot of money coming into the city.
Which offsets your property tax revenue,
there you
folks.
Go. Listen, speaking of taxes, you got to go to a budget meeting.
I do.
I know that this is probably a little more boring than what you're about to experience, and so I apologize.
I might have a tear as I leave.
Enjoy. Thank you. Better you than us. Let us know how it goes.
Thanks.
Tell all the fine members of the Metro Council that we said hello.
I might keep that to myself, actually.
It's 9 until the top of the hour on Super Talk. You know, we had storms over the weekend. I don't know if you guys experienced some of those thunder boomers, but the power flickers, it goes on, it goes off. What do you do when the power goes off? You just sit there in silence, read a book or whatever. Or if you are the proud owner of a home generator from Premier Generac Generators, you don't have to worry about it, because that home generator kicks on in what feels like a nanosecond. I know it's not a nanosecond. It's probably more like a second or two, but it kicks on, and it keeps the fridge on, and it keeps the television on. It keeps all of your needed things on while everybody else's power is off. Now, I'm not here to say it's you against the Joneses, but if your power's on and the Joneses' power is off, you're winning that game, right? You're winning that struggle. So here's the deal. It does not have to cost the proverbial arm and a leg. You do get a 10-year warranty, and it does increase the value of your home. A free consultation is available from the Premier Generators Generac generator dealer. And folks, they're the biggest Generac generator dealer in the state of Tennessee. Go online at premiergenerators.com or call them. I have a number. Here it is. 855-797-4766. 855-797-4766 for Premier. When couples walk into Genesis Diamonds, their eyes get big. I mean, the mind-blowing level of diamonds. I mean, the incredible sparkling jewelry that you see before your very eyes. It can be overwhelming, but never you fear, because the experts at Genesis Diamonds, they will make you feel totally at ease. They'll hand you a beverage of your choosing, a soda or a glass of something sparkly or whatnot, and you can walk around and peruse the selection, ask questions, answer questions, and they will find the right thing for you, your significant other, and your budget. You can see the difference between a diamond that's properly cut, like the one you get at Genesis Diamonds, and the ones that you get at some of these off-brand or online places. I mean, you can see it with your own eyes, and you can see all of the diamonds in stock. It's incredible. The bottom line is this: Genesis takes away all of the risk, all of the mystery, and all of the confusion. They will help you make a decision. They don't sell you on anything. They help you find the right diamond for you and your family, because that is not just a beautiful, sparkling gift. It is an investment. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs. Tell them I sent you to Green Hills and Cool Springs and Genesis Diamonds.
Well, the Trump administration gets another Supreme Court win. President Trump announces a deal with NATO to ship weapons to Ukraine. And a Middle Tennessee family is devastated after their son was gunned down on I-24. Then we've got an update on that Kentucky shooting. These stories and more coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is just before 5 o'clock, just after Ken Weaver's newscast at the top of the hour. We'll welcome to the program Brink Fiddler. We'll talk about the year that was since the assassination attempt of Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. We'll break down exactly the security failures there, what has been discovered and what remains to be discovered with regard to what is ultimately an ongoing, sadly, an ongoing investigation 366 days later. Very quickly, I don't want to belabor this point, but I just want to make sure you understand it. I love what I consider my new adopted state and my new adopted metro area. Now, I'm in Mount Juliet. I don't live in Nashville City, or I don't live in Davidson County. And, based on what I'm looking for and where I expect to be, I don't expect that I'm going to live there. Man, I was looking at some places in Lebanon. Man, those are some nice joints over there. You can get some property out in Lebanon. But anyway, I digress. But I absolutely love this city. And I've been doing this long enough, and I've been in enough communities where I've seen this rodeo before. And I understand that there may be not a lot of or as much community focus on something like the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway now as there was 20 years ago or 25 years ago or 50 years ago. But here's what I do know. Even as it exists today, families make memories at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And it is a pale facsimile of what it could be and what it once was. There are many old school Nashvillians that remember going to perhaps even the NASCAR races. I think NASCAR stopped in 84, if I'm not mistaken, sometime around in there. But they are ready to come back. They are ready to share the speedway out in Lebanon with a race in the city of Nashville at that short track. And Bristol Motor Speedway, their ownership group, is ready to pay for all of those upgrades. And the entire city would benefit as a result. And the expectation is that you would see a residual impact in and around that area. It is right next to Geodis Park, so obviously it's already ripe for a continued resurgence and, dare I say, gentrification. And the leaders in Nashville listen to a minuscule minority of the population as opposed to a vast majority of the citizens of Davidson County. and they refuse to allow this contract to go forward. It is a contract that is only beneficial for the city, and they won't let it go forward. And in my opinion, they won't do it because of the money man who owns Geodis Park, and his name is John Ingram. John Ingram wants that property, and he's going to get it. He's going to use money and leverage to get it. And 10 years from now, people will wonder why it happened. It happened because a big corporate money guy is demanding it. He's going to get what he wants. And it's sad. Here comes the news on Superdog.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And just in from our nation's capital, the U.S. Supreme Court is allowing mass layoffs at the Education Department. Impacts about 1,400 federal employees. U.S. Supreme Court pausing an order from U.S. District Judge Myung Yoon in Boston, who claimed Trump needs congressional approval first. President Trump's announced an arms deal with NATO, where the U.S. would supply Patriot systems and other arms to Ukrainian forces through NATO. The president says he's also giving Russia a little more than a month to finalize a ceasefire deal or else face 100% tariffs. White House senior trade advisor Peter Navarro telling ABC News what parts of the Russian economy will suffer more with imposition of sanctions.
Uranium and oil pop first to mind. We have a lot of that going around the world. And I think that might be a focus.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, a family in Smyrna is heartbroken after their son was shot and killed while driving on I-24 Saturday morning. They're pleading with the public for any information that will help find the suspect. Channel 4 says Noah Taylor's mother lives just 15 minutes away from where he died. She and the rest of the family are devastated.
He had actually came and spent the night with us the night before. And he got up in the morning. He was getting ready for work. And I'm grateful and thankful that the last words that I got to hear from him was, "I love you, Mom."
The Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone who was driving on I-24 near the Waldron Road exit Saturday morning between 7 and 8 to check any car cameras that they may have and share any video that could help identify the suspect responsible. Kentucky shooting update.
The subject, later identified as Mr. Guy House, a 47-year-old male from Lexington, was known to have active arrest warrants.
Yeah, police say after shooting a state trooper, the gunman drove to the Richmond Road Baptist Church where 4 people total were shot, 2 of them killed. Police caught up with the suspect, and they say he was shot and killed. And the social media account for a popular Sesame Street character went on a racist and anti-Semitic tirade over the weekend. Here's Mike Dubusky.
The X account for Elmo, the furry red monster from Sesame Street, shared a string of posts Sunday that included racist and anti-Semitic language. At one point, it even commented on the sex trafficking investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. A spokesperson for Sesame Workshop said the disgusting posts were the work of a hacker, and the account has since been secured. The posts have also been taken down. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a crash blocking the right shoulder in Glencliff. It's going to be 40 westbound right after Spence Lane. Then in Madison, a crash reported by police 65 northbound past Old Hickory Boulevard. Looks like the usual slowdowns, especially if you're northbound 65 up to the South Loop. Then eastbound 24 over to the Eastern Split. Eastbound 440 over to 24. Then 24 eastbound, that's going to be bumper to bumper at times until almost Laverne. Pretty much typical this time of day. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Here we are, and here we go. I can't help. I'm laughing because I know what I'm about to talk about, and it's going to be awesome. So hold on just a moment. Before we do that, Jackson, did you get the number that I just sent you? You got that telephone number? I'm sorry that I sent it late in the game there, but we got Brink Fiddler coming on, and I needed to get you that telephone number. Did you get it? I just sent it to you via the
I have it. Would you like me to call him now, or would you like to get into your thing first?
No, we need to get into this real quick. So Ken Weaver is back in the newsroom.
Yes, sir.
Ken Weaver, I have breaking news.
Yes, sir.
I broke the toilet. So, Ken, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go into that room and see if it's still flushing. Can you hear it? Can you? All right, go check it out.
I'll be right back.
So I went to use the facilities as I am wont to do during Ken Weaver's newscast because that's what we do. Every man's got to go, and when you got to go, you got to go. And so I went to the closest facility to us. Now we've got you've got a single use ADA compliant bathroom on the second floor. Meaning that you open a door and it's just one sink, one stall. You know, the type that Debbie Wasserman Schultz doesn't care for because she says that's unsanitary. And then you've got the bigger bathroom right across the hall that is not exactly ADA compliant, but there's a couple stalls in there, a couple of sinks, whatever. So I guess when ADA compliance became a thing, we had to have an ADA compliant bathroom, and that's what we got. Well, I go there mostly because it's closer. Ken, is it still running?
No. Do you want me to go check the women's?
No. Did it stop? So I flushed the commode, and then as I was washing my hands, which is a difficult task when you only got one hand to do it, and it wouldn't stop flushing. And so I went back, and it still had not stopped flushing. But thankfully, it stopped flushing.
Yeah, it's not flushing right now.
That's great news. Well, I would warn you fellows from using the all-tile bathroom.
Oh, that one. I thought you were talking about the other one. I got to go check that one.
Go check. Well, you should probably hear it. Go buy that. It's the all-tile one with the single-use guy.
Yeah, the one where you could put a table and magazines.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All
Yeah,
right,
a little sofa. Okay, Ken Weaver goes back. Yeah, the what?
The one-holer?
Well, yeah, the single-use, I would say, the one-holer. The one that stinks all the time for some reason. No matter what amount of Febreze goes in. Is it you? It's you. Never mind. If you say it's you and they immediately don't say no, then you know. Ken Weaver is back with a report.
It's not flushing.
Okay, that's good.
Looks like we're okay, Brother Murphy.
I fiddled with it.
What if Ken was swimming back there?
Well, that's what I was worried about. Well, we would have to call because there's a note on that wall that says plumbing problems, call. I think you have to call.
Oh, yeah, you got to call Brother Mike.
I think if we ever have to call that, I think we should call them live on the air.
You wouldn't want to put Brother Mike live on the air.
Probably Mike better than Ian.
Yeah.
Probably Mike better than Ian.
I don't know, man.
I think Ian would just hang up on you. Don't you?
I think Mike would answer the call.
I think Mike might hang up on you. I think Ian would definitely hang up on you.
You better have that dump button push ready with Brother Mike on there.
Hi, Mike. We're on the line with Mike, our chief engineer at Cumulus Nashville. Mike, you're on the radio, and I think immediately we would be met with something along the what the bleep, 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 am I bleep, 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 do I bleep, 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 bleep.
I think he just told me to get that dump button ready.
Boop, boop. Yeah. Well, I'm just glad that got handled. I was a little bit worried about it. Okay. Let's do that. We will get into Epstein coming up in the second half of this hour to include Nincompoops in the news. I promise to get to that. We'll get to your telephone calls on this Monday edition. But 366 days off of what was an assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump's life, I thought it merited a kind of a visit and a conversation with my go-to man when it comes to analyzing these types of situations and being able to recognize where the security protocols were breached, what protocols were not followed, and what we can do to learn from the incident. Our man is Brink Fiddler. He is with Defense Systems. Of course, you hear me talking about Brink all the time, and occasionally we bring him on to lean on his expertise. Brink, I hope everything's well, man. You doing all right?
Good, yeah, busy, but doing really well, thanks.
Well, I like, you know me, I like you busy until such time that you shut down for a lack of these types of incidents, but sadly that's not going to happen anytime soon, as we both know.
No, and I enjoyed your little banter there about the bathroom.
I thought I'd broken the toilet, honestly. I mean, flushing, it just wouldn't stop. It just wouldn't stop. It's one of those industrial grade jobs, and I thought instead of not, my predisposition, Brink, you know me well enough. My predisposition is just to walk away and pretend it wasn't me. I mean, that's
no doubt.
But I'm trying to overcome these failures in my character, and so I owned up to it live on the radio. And look, and look what happened. It solved itself.
Well, I'm fairly certain Secret Service must have installed it to begin with, right? So,
this is the reason I love Fiddler. He knows how to get us right back on track. So. It's been a year. It seems like longer. There's been a lot going on in the last in the last calendar year, but a year and a day ago in Butler, Pennsylvania, a 20-year-old. What we believe to know to be true is that a 20-year-old asked to borrow his father's gun. Individual went to the Butler, Pennsylvania rally. Was at the rally for length of time, noticed by a number of people, and then eventually was found to be on top of a roof in a sniper-type position, drawing down on the once and future president of the United States of America. I'm going to try to not lead you in any direction when I ask you. You break these types of situations down all the time, and they're always different, but there are, I believe you've taught me this enough, that you can always find some points of similarity. So break this situation down for us with your eyes, Brink.
Yeah, we got to really back up right before the day of, because, we know now that 10 days before that event that there were some classified briefings held with higher-level Secret Service personnel about an active threat to Trump's life. So we know 10 days out that they know about an active threat against his life. And that information does not make it to his detail. It doesn't make it to local law enforcement. It doesn't go anywhere. Furthermore, if you remember, this is right around the time of the RNC and the DNC too, right? So resources were spread very thin, which led to a lot of the debacle that day as well, which we'll get into in a minute. But because resources were spread thin, I don't know what led to their decision not to get that information to the people who are responsible for protecting his life. Because at the end of the day, those are the most important people that need to know that information. So why the upper level echelon of Secret Service decided not to talk about an active threat against former and like you said, future president, I'll never know. I would hope and pray that it's just incompetence and nothing darker than that. But it seems unreasonable to me that they would not share the fact that there was an active threat against him with his detail and the people that were going to be protecting him in the next, 5 to 20 days, whatever it was. Furthermore, we now know that the agent that was tasked with doing the basically the vulnerability assessment and kind of planning the thing for that event. That was our first time to do it, was at Butler, which seems crazy to me as well. And again, it could be they were spread thin. I don't know. But they had asked for some additional counter drone technology, which they were denied. And apparently they were denied that because that was being utilized at the DNC and RNC. But they did, somebody in Secret Service somewhere interjected and gave them more counter sniper cover, which, as we all know, ended up ending the thing pretty quickly, thankfully. But there's just the amount of failures. I mean, the fact that he was stopped with a rangefinder at the site and let go, and then that information wasn't shared with the entire team. I just, you had Adam and I on to talk about this a year ago, and to me, nothing's changed except I'm just as dumbfounded now as I was then about, the failures. And again, I'd like to think it's not darker than that with all the failures, but I mean, I just can't imagine there's that perfect of a storm where all those things could go wrong.
Are we willing to say, and I understand where you are on it, and you and I we've talked long enough that, and I try to be here too. I don't want to assume the darkest places. I don't want to. Because the darkest place that we could go is that someone had knowledge and they let it go. And in order for me to believe that, I'm going to need to see evidence. I can feel any way I want to feel, but I'm going to choose not to believe that until I see evidence, because I'm going to choose not to go there. Now, some people might say that's naive or whatever, but at best, these are failures that should never rise to the level of the Secret Service. Would you agree with that? I mean, even looking at this in the best case types of scenarios, that these were just genuine and honest mistakes that were made, it's hard for me to believe. It's one thing for, a local, no offense to you county sheriffs out there, but for a local county sheriff to think nothing of somebody holding a rangefinder or whatever, but you're protecting some of the most valuable assets on planet Earth. And for you not to at least sit that fellow down and question what the hell he's doing there with a rangefinder.
Yeah, and I think he was, but the fact that information wasn't pushed out to every single person at that event, and not only that, I think other measures may have been put in place to protect. I don't know if I'm on his detail and I'm in charge of protecting his life, and I get information from local law enforcement that there's a guy that stopped there with a rangefinder. I'm probably going to call it off.
Right. So if you are, and Brink has years and years of experience, and you obviously have years of experience in the police department as well as years of experience with defense systems. If you were a part of the decision-making process and somebody radioed you and said, hey, we had someone on site who had a rangefinder, and would you have allowed the president to take the stage?
Depends on how much time I had between the time he took the stage and that information was given to me. If I had enough time to deploy all the resources and triple check everything, there was a water tower nearby too that was, in my opinion, not secured well enough. There were tree lines, there were all sorts of things. So based on what I know was not secure, then I would not have let him go out there. There's no reason, right? I understand the campaign and understand all those things, but it's also not normal activity. It's not even close to normal activity to have somebody show up with a rangefinder where, the former president's getting ready to speak. And obviously,
right. So, and for those,
one of those hated men on planet.
And for those who maybe not understand, a rangefinder it's to have binoculars is one thing, so you can get a better view of the president from far away. A rangefinder tells you how far away you are, which is what you can use on the golf course, and you can also use it at a shooting range to understand what the trajectory of what particular weapon you're going to use is going to do, right?
Yeah, it was a laser rangefinder and not a golfing one, right? It was for firearms. So, a lot of times it's used in long range shooting. It's used in hunting. Yeah, bow hunters use them a lot too, just because, hunting with bow.
Because the fall of the arrow, right? Yeah.
That's right. But it gives you, using a laser, it gives you the exact distance to your target. So there is no reason on the planet that anybody at a Trump rally should have a laser rangefinder except the counter sniper teams, right? There's no legitimate reason whatsoever. So that fact alone, but it didn't make it to his protective detail. Apparently, there was a huge lack of communication between local law enforcement and Secret Service. They know now. Local law enforcement even said, had they known that there was been an active threat against him at the time, that they would have asked for more resources and they would have reached out to surrounding counties and everything else and gotten more personnel there to protect that venue better. Was there complacency here? 100%. There's no doubt there was complacency there. Like how that dude got a ladder up against that building and climbed on a roof within a few hundred yards of that stage is still beyond me. And like you, I don't want to believe until I'm shown the facts. I don't want to believe the worst. But at best, it's just a huge amount of incompetence that should not ever reach. I mean, you said should not be seen at the Secret Service. Should not be seen at the Secret Service on a protective detail, right? I mean, if it's a new guy that's working in, I don't know, Phoenix, Arizona, working counterfeit cases, and he's been out of the Secret Service Academy for 6 months, that's one thing. But that's not what we're talking about here. So the fact that that level of a detail, but the other thing too that we know now is a lot of people on that detail weren't even Secret Service.
Right.
They were supplemented with like Homeland Security agents, stuff like that, who had very little executive protection experience at all.
Brink Fiddler, our guest. We're going to take a quick time out. I'm going to ask the very generic and open-ended question. What other aspects of the day, 366 days since, does Brink still have questions about? He mentioned the individual getting up on the roof, this sloped roof scenario. One wonders how in the world we allowed that to happen. We'll find out those questions in just a moment. Are there answers? Probably not a lot of answers even a year later. It's 23 after the hour on Super Talk. Love Grace Point Healthcare and what they represent for our community. They represent a way for you to get the insurance companies out of the decision-making process when it comes to decisions that ought to be between you and your doctor. Now, they are affordable and convenient medicine right there in Franklin, Tennessee. If you enroll in the basic Smart Care plan, you'll know this, for example, that you'll pay $69 a month. You have unlimited office visits, normal office visits for that $69 a month price point, no matter how many you need over the course of the year. And you get free basic labs and diagnostic testing as well. Ask them when you call Grace Point Healthcare about the Smart Care plan. You don't have to sign up for the Smart Care plan in order to be a patient at Grace Point Healthcare. They take any and all comers. And by the way, you don't have to wait weeks on end before you get in. Oftentimes, they can see you same day, and certainly next day services readily available at Grace Point Healthcare. Give them a call today. As I say, located in the heart of Franklin, 599-6868, 599-6868. They are truly modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Grace Point Healthcare.
Another Supreme Court win for the Trump administration, and President Trump announcing an arms deal with NATO that is going to benefit Ukraine. These stories and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Man, we're getting to the point in Nincompoops in the News where these stories seem so similar to stories we've done in the past. I'm so worried about repeating.
Oh, I'm not repeating mine today.
Oh, well, I can't wait for Nincompoops in the News
Ken,
coming up.
where's yours from?
I'm not saying.
Yeah, got to keep that quiet. Jackson will steal one from you. Got to watch that old Jackson. All right, we'll get to that in just a moment. That's after the real news. Brink Fiddler joins us from Defense Systems talking about the assassination attempt against Donald Trump 1 year and 1 day ago. What questions do you still have, Brink, if any? I mean, I know that you've dissected more of these types of situations than anybody else that I know. I mean, I could ask you about how the world he got on the roof. It's inexplicable. And I think even people that day would tell you that it's relatively inexplicable that he got that line of sight. But what specific questions do you still have, if any?
Well, a ton, but I would say the biggest one that to really just get bare bones about it is if you look at the report that came out after, the task force or whatever you want to call it, there's literally a screenshot of a text message from Butler Emergency Services, like where they're texting each other. And it says, "Are you watching this guy up against our building? Long hair, gray T-shirt, white shorts. He has a rangefinder." That's at 5:15 p.m. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Shots ring out at 6:11 p.m.
My God.
Right. I mean, I can just stop there. Like, I don't.
Yeah. And
I mean,
almost an hour. They
at.
identified some weirdo with a rangefinder almost an hour before he managed to take shots at the president.
Yep. So I don't. At 5:38 p.m., another sniper, sent a message. Kid leaning around the building. We were in AGR. I did see him with a rangefinder looking towards the stage. FYI, if you want to notify Secret Service snipers to look out, I lost sight of him. That's kind of a big deal.
Right.
At 5:38 p.m. Like, maybe we should just stop everything until we figure out what's going on.
Yeah, maybe we should regain. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, and thankfully we can because Donald Trump was not killed, but maybe we should not allow people to remain on the stage if we don't have sight of the guy that we're worried about with a rangefinder.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, anybody that looks at this report will ask themselves, I'm sure, all the same questions I've asked myself. And, so just basic bare bones, that's where I'll leave it. I mean, it's just epic failure. Hindsight's always 20/20. Obviously, I don't think local law enforcement understood the level. I mean, they understood what their job was that day, but they had no idea there was an active threat, and they would have, I'm sure, done things differently.
Do you believe that there was a CYA? I'm not asking about a cover-up, but do you believe that there was is it let me ask it a different way before we go to news. In a situation like this, is it typical for various departments to try to kind of CYA a little bit?
Oh, 100%. I mean, and everybody was trying to do that, right? To say, well, there's a lot of finger pointing going on, and understandably. But I mean, you can answer that question with this, right? Was there a CYA going on when the director of the Secret Service talks about there was too much of a slope on the roof for their snipers?
Right. Yeah, we couldn't send our snipers up there because of the slope. It's just, geez. Well, rightly so, heads rolled, yeah. Well, look, we always appreciate your analysis and your breakdown of these things, Brink, and thank you for everything that you do, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
All right, man. There's Brink Fiddler. He is owner of Defense Systems, and if you're in need, defensesystems.com. It's past time. It's time for the news on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes, and another Supreme Court win for the Trump administration. SCOTUS allowing mass layoffs at the Education Department, impacting about 1,400 employees. President Trump has announced an arms deal with NATO where the U.S. would supply Patriot systems and other arms and NATO would distribute them to Ukrainian forces. He's also threatening Russia with 100% tariffs unless there's a deal to end the war within 50 days. White House senior trade advisor Peter Navarro telling ABC News the tariffs would be slapped on top of existing sanctions.
Russia, China, Iran, other countries, they have a have made a concerted effort to figure out workarounds around the sanctions. So a combination of sanctions and tariffs will be a much more powerful disincentive.
Now, Navarro says Russia will be hurt most by tariffs on uranium and oil going around the world. Right now in Middle Tennessee, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is asking for drivers who were on I-24 early Saturday morning to share any dash cam video they might have in hopes of identifying a suspect in the deadly shooting of a 22-year-old man. His family says Noah Taylor was gunned down on his way to work. He was just 10 minutes away from work whenever someone shot him and killed him there at the Waldron Road exit, westbound 24. Authorities say between 7 and 8 o'clock. They say they need anyone with dash cam video who might have been on I-24 there between 7 and 8 to come forward. It might help them identify a suspect. And a nightmarish discovery in Victorville, California.
Deputies in San Bernardino County were called to an AM/PM convenience store on Sunday after someone reported finding a teddy bear made out of human skin. Where the fur of a teddy bear would be, that was human skin, according to the report. The coroner's office took it over, but now an artist in South Carolina says no need for concern that he made what's called a human skin teddy bear and that skin is actually latex. His company specializes in horror special effects and haunted attractions. He shipped a bear to a customer in Victorville last week, and it somehow got placed at that convenience store. Alex Stone, EBC News.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Madison got a crash reported 65 northbound past Old Hickory Boulevard, and then in Mount Juliet, closed for railroad repairs. North Mount Juliet Road between Division Street and Industrial Drive. Still got a crash with the left lane block 40 eastbound right before Charlotte Pike. It's going to be in the Hillwood area. And in South Nashville, a crash blocking the second right lane 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
You know, it's a fancy rhyme, but it's also true that I made the switch to Dr. Mitch and the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And I did it for good reason. I mean, yes, there's the convenience of being right there in Mount Juliet, and I absolutely love that because I'm an MJ as well. But secondarily, I would recommend Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley to anyone within the sound of my voice. They are worth the drive wherever you might be because of the advanced techniques and technologies that they utilize to help alleviate your pain without taking pills, without considering surgery. Surgery is an option at some point in the pain profile and spectrum, depending on what's wrong with you, but it should be the last option, especially when it comes to your spine, your discs. Healing is available through spinal decompression, and right now, it's incredible. They got the Big Daddy special going, and I had to reread this 14 times. It's $12 for a comprehensive examination, x-rays, and a diagnosis, and your first treatment. It's $12. 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009 for the Wellness Institute of Nashville or online at painisbad.com. My name is Matt Murphy, and the Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval. Go to painisbad.com.
Pastor and author J.C. Ryle once said, contrary to popular belief, hell is not a place God sends only the worst of the worst. Hell is our default destination. What that means is we need someone to save us, or we stand before God condemned to hell. But we cannot save ourselves. Only God can do that. Ephesians 2:8-9 says, for by grace you have been saved through faith, that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of the result of works. Jesus Christ placed all believers' sins upon himself and died to pay for them. Why did he? Because Scripture says the wages of sin is death. Wages means the same as payment, so payment for sin is death. There are no second chances to accept Christ and avoid hell after you die. So if you feel a prompting in your heart, it may be God drawing you. Scan the QR code to learn more.
I don't know what to tell you. Hello. Are you looking at my face on the Super Talk television side of things? Talk TV's up and running, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. I think I'm blushing. Am I blushing? I think I'm blushing.
Why?
Jackson said something that we will not discuss on the radio, Ken, that made me blush.
You gotta look out for that, brother Jack.
You gotta look out from those boys that start across the hall.
Yeah.
That locker room talk.
Yeah.
Bring all that over here.
Oh, come on.
Oh my goodness gracious.
It's just me. Don't throw my friends into it.
Well, that's true. You're king of the locker room talk yourself. Okay, so speaking of locker room talk, we're going to engage in a little bit of it. I know that I've promised the last word on Epstein, at least the last word today. I can't promise that we will not discuss this, but I do have a response to our president of the United States of America encouraging us to move on from the issue. I mentioned we had a Gloria update. We had a Supreme Court ruling earlier today that was in favor of Trump, 6-3, giving him the ability to fire employees of the executive branch of government. That's good news. And we still have to run down all that are in the 7th congressional race. We've invited all of these folks on the show. At least I have invited. Actually, I take that back. I have not invited everybody, but I'm trying. I invited Jody Barrett. I think Lee Reeves has already been on with us. I invited Jody over the weekend, and he can't do it this week. Said he was out of town, in various parts of the 7th District, but he will be on with us. I have invited Matt Van Epps, and we're working out the details of when that's going to happen. I have invited Afton Bain in person. I invited Afton, and she said she'd come on. She's running as a Democrat. I've not invited several of the others that are running in this race, but we'll get to all of them because I think you need, in the compressed time frame, you most certainly need to know who you're dealing with, and you need to know this information so you can figure out who you're voting for. All right, you need to know this, too. Every day around this time, we like to shut down the news and get to the nincompoops. We do it in this fashion on a daily basis, 41 minutes after the hour. It's time for nincompoops in the news. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, yes. There's Brother Ken Weaver in News Closet B. He's present and accounted for. Jackson Williams is behind the glass, not only screening your telephone calls, generally being bawdy in his talk and surly in his manner, and he has found an
Bawdy? What does that even mean?
B-A-W-D-Y. We use that type of. Look that up in your Funkin' Wagnalls. And then there's me, your humble host. I've told you. That's a legit, that was the dictionary that was on our shelves back in the day. And then there's your humble correspondent. We look all over the globe. We find those nincompoops, we present them to you, and then you get to vote on a daily basis. I want to say Ken Weaver won on Friday.
Okay.
I think that's true.
I'll go along
You
with
never
it.
counted the results.
Wait a minute. Maybe Jackson won on Friday.
It might have been Brother Jackson.
No, Jackson, I think you won on Friday.
Hey, let's go.
Now that I recall it, I don't know that I ever officially announced results because it was neck and neck between you and Ken Weaver. So I'm going to go with Jackson.
All right.
Ken, I'm sorry if I'm snatching victories from the jaws of defeat or you know the saying.
That's all right. I'll get used to that starting in September.
Jackson, you're nincompoop, sir.
We're going to Georgia. Naked man accused of knocking man out with freezer on Lake Lanier boat slip.
Oh, wow.
A Buford man was arrested last week after deputies say he stripped naked and knocked another man out using a freezer on a Lake Lanier boat strip.
Are you saying a freezer?
Yes, a freezer.
Oh, wow.
Deputies arrested 42-year-old Logan Nicholas Young at his houseboat on July 3rd. What we know is officials with the Hall County Sheriff's Office say the incident happened at a boat slip on the 6900 block of Lanier Islands Parkway on the evening of July 2nd. That night, investigators say Young, the 59-year-old victim, and two women were on the victim's boat. At some point, Young reportedly took off all of his clothes in front of the other three people, leading to an argument in which officials say he punched the man in the chest and left the vessel.
It led to an argument.
Well, y'all, hey, I'm just imagining us. What y'all think about this?
Hey, y'all look here.
Why are y'all getting mad at me?
I mean, what's going on over here? Y'all see this?
Y'all want some of these goods?
The victim
Or
and the
services.
The victim and the two women thought that Young had gone on his own boat. Authorities say so they tried to leave the dock. It was then that Young allegedly threw a deep freezer at the man, hitting him in the head and knocking him unconscious and into the lake.
Wow.
The man was able to get back to shore. Officials say he had a large laceration on his head, but refused treatment. When deputies went to Young's houseboat to speak with him, they say he silenced his phone and turned off his boat lights. Hours later, the deputies obtained an arrest warrant and found Young hiding under a bed on the boat.
Hey, y'all, they ain't gonna catch me. I turned my phone on silent.
Turned my phone on silent, turned off the boat lights, and hid under the bed.
Also, anybody seen my drawers?
I didn't bring a change of clothes. I left them on my buddy's boat.
I'm concerned. What was in the freezer? Are there sunken meats? What are we going to do about the meats?
How big was this deep freezer?
I mean,
I don't know, but it couldn't have felt good.
Oh, boy, was taking something, if you ask me.
Man.
He's facing charges of simple battery, public indecency, and 3 counts of obstruction of an officer, all misdemeanors. How do you not get a felony?
That's pretty good.
Hit him with a deep freezer.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, Ken.
I like how everything was going fine until he decided to get naked and it sparked an argument.
I'm just imagining certain language that was used precipitating the. Oh, what? You don't like what you think it's cold? I'll show you cold.
I'm like, what does he mean by that?
See what I mean there? I will go next.
Hit it, Brother Murphy.
A Florida man is behind bars on felony charges.
Ooh.
For a pair of Walmart sex toy heists.
Walmart?
I have a little picture.
Have we not done this one?
A little bit. I don't know. Maybe. If I'm disqualified, fine. Because this I've got a dateline of July 14 on this.
Okay, you're
I don't think
safe.
I've heard this one.
So a Walmart sex toy heists. Now, yes, Ken, that was my initial reaction too.
I got to look this up.
I haven't been in a Walmart in 9 years, 8 years. I stopped going. So I did not know that Walmart was dabbling in the sex toy trade. Jeffrey LaForge, 40 years of age, was arrested this past Friday, on a pair of theft counts for which he is being held in lieu of $10,000 bond. There is a little pictures alert here. I'm going to try to avoid any controversial language, but on two separate occasions, police charged LaForge swiped a variety of adult toys from a Walmart in South Pasadena in Florida. Store security cameras recorded LaForge removing the items from their packaging and then departing Walmart without paying for the pleasure devices. The $280 worth of stolen goods included a $31.44 tush toy.
Oh.
And a $14.98 item described as a stroker.
Hey-o.
LaForge is also accused. This is my favorite line in the story. LaForge is also accused of stealing a Reese peanut butter ice cream bar costing $3.98.
Oh, God, what was he going to do with that? Snack after?
Yeah, you have a little hungry.
Maybe he was trying to quit smoking.
It is unclear whether the sex toys were intended for personal use or resale, although the lack of packaging might cause a prospective buyer concern that the items were previously used. Since the merchandise was valued at less than $1,000, the theft would normally be a misdemeanor. However, owing to LaForge's history of theft convictions, the counts were enhanced to felonies. On a related note, who knew that the largest retailer in the United States of America had gone into the sex toy business?
Somebody's got to sell them.
I mean, I had no idea either, but there you go. You learn something new every day. Ken Weaver.
Yes, sir.
You got a nincompoop.
All right. Here we go. I learned of this during the Chad Benson show today.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it involves somebody passing away, I think it is a cautionary tale for everybody out there.
Amen.
Tourist took selfie with bear before being mauled to death.
No.
A tourist in Romania was mauled to death by a bear the day after he posed for a selfie with the wild animals. 48-year-old Omar Farang, who was traveling in the Carpathian Mountains, was dragged 60 yards down a steep gully, killed by a mama bear after reportedly taking photos of the animal with its 3 cubs. A day earlier, the Italian took several photos of a sleuth of bears by the side of a road, including a picture of himself with one of the animals just a few yards behind him. He's just smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Big bear behind, big old brown bear.
Oh, yeah.
He also took a video of himself driving past a bear standing by the roadside saying, "Look at the bear, how beautiful." There has been an increasing number of bear attacks in Romania in recent years as the country struggles to control its growing bear population. Romania has the largest population of brown bears in the European Union, with conservationists estimating there are between 10,000 and 13,000 roaming the country's forests and mountains.
That's a lot of bears.
Forestry officers say there are more than 110 bears living right there where this fellow was taking selfies. In a 24-hour period in May, there were 3 attacks in the mountains. A 74-year-old Spanish woman mauled by a bear as she took a photo from her car with the window down. Then a Pole and a German tourist were also attacked in separate incidents. And there are signs in the area that clearly read, "Warning, do not feed or get close to wild bears."
Uh-huh, yeah.
You know why?
Because they'll kill you?
Yeah, because they'll drag you 60 yards down a ravine and kill you.
Absolute nincompoop. And yes, normally the Darwin Award winners don't make appearances on nincompoops in the news, but in this, you got to make an exception because it is, as you say, Ken, a cautionary tale for those who need to hear it. Bears are not cute.
No.
I mean, you might think they're just as cuddly as can be, but you know what they are? Killers.
They're killers. They'll do it, especially a mama bear with her youngins.
And one swipe of that paw, and you're out, and you're done. See you later. It's mealtime.
Good eating.
Yeah, that's exactly what you are. Good eating. That's how we play nincompoops in the news. You get to vote. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Back in a moment with your telephone calls. It's 9 till the top on Super Talk. Dr. Brian McLaughlin has taken over for Dr. Stephen Pass and remains exceptional in his level of customer service at the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solutions Center. I've loved getting to know not just Dr. Stephen Pass, but also Dr. McLaughlin as he takes over in Murfreesboro and Brentwood, and he helps you sleep better at night. Here's the bottom line, friends. Many, many men in the listening audience are victims of sleep apnea without even knowing it. Are you waking up in the night? Do you feel yourself maybe it's as if you have stopped breathing in the night? Well, these instances are not going to go away on their own. And we need to get them checked out and see if you have sleep apnea. And indeed, if you've had a sleep test, what about an FDA-approved oral device that fits in your mouth, that is customized for your mouth, that can help you breathe better by keeping the airway open? It works. It is clinically proven. And I know from my own empirical data because I use it on a nightly basis and absolutely love using said same. TennesseeSleep.com is the website to start your journey, to start your adventure. TennesseeSleep.com. I invite you to be a part of the growing Tennessee Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution family. Tell Dr. McLaughlin and the rest of the crew that Matt Murphy sent you.
Well, another SCOTUS ruling favoring the Trump agenda. President Trump announcing an arms deal with NATO that's going to benefit Ukraine. Here in Middle Tennessee, a family in Smyrna heartbroken after their son shot and killed while driving on I-24 over the weekend. And if you're still looking around for a good summer travel deal, we've got a story for you coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Why, thank you, Ken Weaver, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy, and you. Along with Jackson, along with Ken. A couple of minutes left in the voting. Right now, Ken Weaver's leading by 2 votes over Jackson, who's leading by 2 votes over me. So
really,
it's a tight contest, friends. Tight contest. Ken Weaver leads by the skinniest of margins. As a matter of fact, several people are weighing in. Said, I find it unbearable not to vote for Ken. This other. He just barely beat the rest of you. So you'll bear the brunt of not going first tomorrow. Oh, the puns. Oh, the puns. I noticed no puns on my sex toy story.
I've got a few, but they're not safe.
Yeah, you just have to be wary of them.
See, that's more that locker room talk there from Brother Jackson.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's right. That's nasty, bawdy talk. We don't need it. Have you looked it up yet?
No, but I can inference.
You can imagine. Voting closes in just a minute or two. And then we'll open up this conversation, which Donald Trump would like to close ASAP. There was a lot of speculation as to whether or not Dan Bongino, the assistant director of the FBI, was preparing to quit. Donald Trump says, nah.
Oh, I think so. I did. I spoke to him today. Dan Bongino, very good guy. I've known him a long time. I've done his show many, many times. And he sounded terrific, actually. No, I think he's in good shape. On this one you're in.
He thinks he's in good shape.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Dan Bongino is in good shape.
What's that mean?
I don't. Good shape meaning, he's not going to quit. Good shape meaning he's A-okay. Good shape meaning what? Meantime, Donald Trump said, what's going on with my boys, in some case gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who's doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect, capitalized, perfect administration. The talk of the world. And selfish people are trying to hurt it all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein. For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more? Oh, he has more to say about this. And I have a response to a president that I love and support. We'll share that response with you after the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Six o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And in our nation's capital today, the U.S. Supreme Court giving more support to the Trump agenda, giving them a win. Supreme Court greenlighting mass layoffs at the Education Department, impacting about 1,400 employees. President Trump announcing an arms deal with NATO, where the U.S. would supply Patriot systems and other arms to Ukrainian forces. President making the announcement alongside NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte at the White House, said the U.S. will be selling the arms and NATO would handle distribution. The president also said he's unhappy with Vladimir Putin and has threatened new tariffs, says Karen Travers.
The way the president described this is that there would be sanctions on Russia after 50 days if there is no ceasefire in the war in Ukraine, 100% tariffs on Russia. He described them, though, as secondary tariffs, which would suggest that that also would be targeting countries that do business with Russia. Secondary tariffs meaning, the outer circle of those countries that are working with Russia, doing energy trading, things like that, oil and gas.
A family in Smyrna is heartbroken after their son was shot and killed while driving on I-24 Saturday morning, pleading with the public for any information that will help find their son's killer. Channel 4's Courtney Allen says Noah Taylor's mom lives just 15 minutes away from where he died. She and the rest of the family completely devastated.
I don't even remember all the words that they said. I just realized I had lost my son. And we had been hearing about this accident all day and 24 being shut down, and never, was there a thought that could have been my child that was had died?
Rutherford County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone who may have been driving on I-24 near the Waldron Road exit Saturday morning between 7 and 8 to check any car camera video that you may have and share that video so that it might help identify the suspect responsible. Trump administration announcing a change to the ice cream industry. By 2028, ice cream makers will eliminate certain artificial colors from their products. These dyes include yellow 5, red 40, green 3, blue 1. The FDA also promoting food dyes made from natural sources. FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty McCary says the change will also change health outcomes for children.
We believe in options, and we believe in incremental improvements in health. The sickness of American kids is not a willpower problem. It's not their fault. We can do things that'll make the food supply healthier one step at a time.
Some studies have suggested these dyes are linked to certain health problems, but nothing conclusive has been shown in the research. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Madison got a crash reported 65 northbound just past Old Hickory Boulevard. Then a crash on the right shoulder, 40 westbound past Fessler's Lane. In Williamson County, we've got a crash, vehicle versus a pole. This is going to be 65 southbound at Paytonsville Road, Goose Creek bypass, exit 61. Then back here in Nashville, a crash blocking the second right lane, 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you, thank you for being around with us, whatever time you're able to give. We're certainly appreciative. We're getting into what might be the last word on the Jeffrey Epstein story, because I don't think we're going anywhere in terms of investigations, despite the fact that Ghislaine Maxwell, apparently, according to the Daily Mail, she has agreed to testify in front of Congress, and no deal was offered her regarding her testimony against other people. We'll share some of that with you coming up in just a couple of minutes. Super Talk 99.7 WTN can be found on a variety of platforms, of course, Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Hello and welcome. We're also on iHeart, Spotify, TuneIn, and a variety of other platforms, including our own app. Super Talk's app is found at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You can take us wherever you go, and we're certainly appreciative of all of that. You can communicate with the program via phone, and I've been remiss on the phone lines today because there's so much to get to, but obviously I cherish you on the phone lines, and we'll get to you momentarily, but also on the Super Text line. Ethan writes in and says, this is a little distracting. And he sent a photo to accompany his text. And the distraction, it appears to be in his car at 6:02 in the evening, and he has shown me the screen on his car where it shows the radio station that he's listening to. And it says FM 99.7 WWTN HD, and then under that it says WTN News with Ken Weaver. And then right beside that is a photograph of Ken Weaver. Did you know this? I didn't know this.
I didn't know this either.
Apparently in the fancy new automobiles that receive that RFD signal or whatever it is, they're now getting photographs of us.
Lord.
Am I wearing a shirt?
You are. Some sort of purple number, it looks like. It's your face. It might be something of, well, let me get a little close up. Oh no, you looking good, Ken Weaver. You got like a little purple shirt on, purpley shirt on.
Really?
Your beard's a little shorter than it is today, so and you are skinnier than in this photo, although you are fetching. Quite fetching in this photo, I must say. And I asked the question whether or not it shows my ugly mug when I'm talking, and I have yet to get a response. So that's quite something.
What if it just switched back and forth between all three of us?
I don't think you've made it to the car yet, Jackson, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
Break the screen.
I'm also working on this tally, and I'm here to tell you, Jackson, you've lost.
I demand a recount.
I'm plenty happy to give you one, but I'm just here to tell you that that's what it is. This is the first time I've noticed. Oh, look at 6:00. Oh, it's got my shot of me in that green sweater that I brought with me from Birmingham, Alabama, and haven't replaced yet with a little the shorn goatee. So apparently you can see our ugly mugs in your car now, which is
interesting.
I'm getting a bunch of them now.
Did you count my phone vote that I told you about?
Yes, Jackson, I counted your phone vote. I counted Billy, who didn't even say your name. Billy just said naked freezer guy.
I'll go by that.
You received that vote as well.
I still want to know what kind of deep freezer this was, because the only deep freezer I know of weighs about 1,000 pounds.
Well, I mean, they have those smaller versions that you can buy at like the Sam's Club or the big box store that are they call them chest freezers, but they're smaller size.
Okay.
My grandma had one of those Mac Daddies on the back porch.
Well, that's all I'm thinking of. That's the only thing that comes to my mind.
They do have the smaller versions of those where you can keep ice cream and whatnot in them.
I was going to say, what was this fella's name? Bruce Banner?
I don't know.
And he gets mad?
New Superman movie came out.
Oh, yeah. Ken is NM proud. New Mexico proud? I don't know. I guess you were in Albuquerque for a minute.
I was there. I loved Albuquerque.
Oh, yeah. I like New Mexico except for Albuquerque.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I'm just saying.
You don't like blue cities.
Well, no. Santa Fe's nice. And Santa Fe's blue. Albuquerque's nice. I don't know if someone told me I've never been to New Mexico, because E's people are from out there, right? If somebody said, Ken, I've never been to New Mexico and I want to go.
Yeah.
I would tell them to go to Santa Fe.
Well, yeah.
Or Taos.
I mean, Santa Fe is a real nice place. Taos real nice.
Yeah. Albuquerque is good until it's not.
Is
that fair?
And those are very wise words.
What's the heat like there?
It's a dry heat. So, like right about now, things are cooling down nicely in Albuquerque.
No swamp ass?
No swamp ass in Albuquerque.
No swamp ass on the Murphy Show either, Jackson. You mind your language. We don't talk like that around here. I am a matchmaker. Real quick before we get back to the news. I've been communicated with by a fellow. I don't want to say his name. Well, no, I'll say his name. Josh. Josh has written in. And Josh says, I was at a barbecue Saturday evening when a beautiful woman stated she was a University of Alabama alumni. Now, I know what you're thinking. We're doubting this story, but we're going to go with it. When a beautiful woman stated she was a University of Alabama alumni, I replied with the Alabama Waffle House night shift joke. And we are now meeting for adult beverages this evening. Thank you, Matt Murphy. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make
What is
me
that
a
joke?
match.
That's the way to go, Brother Murphy.
How about that? We made a little love connection with
What do you know about that?
with the Alabama Waffle House joke. What has 7 breasts and 9 teeth? Third shift at a Tuscaloosa Waffle House. 7 breasts, 9 teeth.
That's a little generous on the teeth.
I always like that because it takes people a minute to realize there's an odd number of breasts. Like, who's got just the one, or does somebody have 3? You don't know until you go. You just don't know.
It's like a third eye on the back.
If a man and woman get married in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, move to Nashville, Tennessee, and get a divorce, are they still first cousins?
No, but they are still brother and sister.
The more you know from the Matt Murphy Show. Okay, but on more serious things. Donald Trump. Donald Trump wants to know what's going on with his folks. I read you the beginning of this message. It's a fairly lengthy one, but he talks about the Epstein files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration who conned the world with the Russia hoax, 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, and more. He says they created the Epstein files just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? They haven't given up on the John F. Kennedy or Martin Luther King Jr. files, no matter how much success we have had securing the border, deporting criminals, fixing the economy, energy dominance, a safer world where Iran will not have nuclear weapons. It's never enough for some people. We are about to achieve more in 6 months than any other administration has achieved in 100 years, and we have so much more to do. We are saving our country and making America great again, which will continue to be our complete priority. The left is imploding. Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. The 2020 election was rigged, stolen. They tried to do the same thing in 24. That's what she's looking into as AG and much more. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Now it's the hottest country anywhere in the world. Let's keep it that way and not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I asked the question over the weekend if that puts the issue to bed for you, if that makes you feel better about it, and if you feel compelled to leave the issue alone as a result of what Donald Trump had to say. I understand, this is my response, I understand that President Trump desires to move on from the Epstein story. I understand that it is even perhaps best to advance his agenda to move on from the Epstein story. And if he is looking to advance that agenda as swiftly as possible, as directly as possible, I get it. I understand further that he sees this issue as a distraction toward those goals. He is focused forward, not backward. He has a narrow field of vision in terms of what he is ready to accomplish, and he understands that he has a limited time and able to do it, in order to do it. What I cannot, however, stay silent on is the issue of full transparency, particularly transparency in the intelligence sectors of the federal government, specifically the NSA, the CIA, and the FBI. And I don't think I have to remind any of you that that was a campaign promise too. So while I might understand the desire on the part of Donald Trump to move forward from it or to move on from it, while I might understand that he does not see any political benefit in belaboring the information or belaboring the subject, I also would suggest that this is very much on our minds because of the people that Donald Trump put in place in these institutions of great power. For I have no trust in these institutions. And in order to regain my trust, I need to see a level of transparency that I've yet to see. I have always thought, and I've always been really clear with you on this subject, that I believe more has been made of what is actually in the Epstein files than is actually there. I've never believed that there was a list per se. I do not believe that some of the names that we've heard floated around are actually guilty of some of the wild and rampant speculation that we've heard about those subjects, and I've heard them all. I've heard them all. So make no mistake, I do not believe that there is this large list or smoking gun, but I do believe that there are other people involved. And whether or not there are other people involved, I do understand that we were made promises by individuals that have now been placed in powerful posts within the Trump administration that told us clearly and directly what they would do were they in those posts. People like Kash Patel, people like Dan Bongino, and yes, people like Pam Bondi. So look, if there's nothing there, hold a press conference. If what information we believe is contained in this file, quote unquote, this evidence that was gathered to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein and ultimately Ghislaine Maxwell, hold a press conference and tell us that there's no there. But that does not excuse, in my opinion, even as it is Donald Trump, and even as I respect him, and more on that in a second, even if it has been overstated, and even if it's time to move on, that does not excuse how we, the people, have been jerked around about this. Why the dog and pony show in February? Why the dog and pony show with Pam Bondi telling us that the files are on her desk and they had to send a U-Haul truck to the Southern District of New York to get them? Why the dog and pony show with the binders that said the Epstein files phase 1? Why did you take all of these young, quote-unquote, influencers from social media and dump them at the White House and have a photo op with them where they're holding up the binders and the Epstein files, and they got commemorative hats for their visit to the White House? In the meantime, we're talking about child rape here, but whatever. Why all of that? If this was the play all along to say there's nothing to see here and you don't get to see anything else, then why did you not just make this play in February and move on? Now, some are suggesting to me, and I think this attitude is understandable, they want to give Donald Trump and Bongino and Patel the ultimate benefit of the doubt, they're suggesting, well, Matt, the Biden administration destroyed all of this. Well, if the Biden administration destroyed all of it, don't you think Donald Trump would tell us that? There would be a paper trail of destruction if that were the case. My disappointment is not even in that there will be no other prosecutions. That's a part of it. My disappointment is not that we are not asking for justice for those who abused children beyond Epstein and Maxwell. And it is a way stretch to make me believe that there aren't any more of those people. That's a concern, but that's just a part of it. Don't treat me like I'm dumb. Don't treat the American people like we're dumb. Don't treat us like you're Democrats. This is the way Democrats talk to their followers. Hold a press conference. Release what you can. Redact the rest. Hold a press conference. And if nothing else, promise to do better in the future. I expect that Donald Trump and his team will move on from all of this. And I expect that most of Trump's supporters, myself included, will move on along with him. I will, I suppose. What option do I have? Am I disappointed? Yeah. But what option do we have? And that's the last word from me on Jeffrey Epstein. Your say, Mike and Thomas, will get to you. It's 24 after the hour.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
Friends, Matt Murphy here for Cover Nash and my buddy Shane Ring. You know, Shane wants to consult with you any and all questions that you might have about your health insurance. Even if you are relatively comfortable with the health insurance coverage that you currently have, but you're confused about certain aspects of said coverage, talk to Shane and allow him to consult with you because he is my go-to expert on all things health coverage and health insurance in the local area. You know, these call center agents, all they're designed to do is to route you to sales. And they're selling you particular products, not looking at what's best for you. Shane Ring isn't designed that way. He's not built that way, and Cover Nash is not built that way. They are there to answer questions, to educate you on the current health insurance that you have, and to help you understand what can be better about that insurance coverage down the road or right now. Take control of your money, take control of your health coverage, managed by you and never by the government. Go to covernash.com. Tell Shane I sent you. Covernash.com or 615-465-0023, 465-0023. On the way moments from now, Super Talk 99.7 WT. And once again, I don't talk about this to belabor the point, only to say that I'm not going to forget. It's about justice and transparency in that order. Or, I mean, if you want to flip them, that's fine. Promises made, promises kept. It is all about the justice involved in this situation. And sadly, I don't believe that there will be justice to be had for some of the victims. I do not believe that some of the perpetrators will be held to account. Donald Trump says he wants to move on from it because it is in his best political interest to do so. And that it's not a bad thing to say that. It is, frankly, a fact that I think we saw come to reality over the weekend. Quickly, I want to get to Thomas in Kentucky. Hey, Thomas.
Hey, buddy. Hey, I got a question on Pam Bondi.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody's kind of upset with her, but isn't she doing just what Trump tells her to do?
Pam Bondi works at the pleasure of the President of the United States of America. Yes, sir.
Okay, then why is everybody mad because she's messed up? All she's doing is doing what he's told her. I mean, I don't believe him. He's covering up something.
Well, I don't know that he's quote unquote covering up anything, except that he does not believe their official position, Thomas, is that there's nothing else to be learned from the Epstein files. That's their official position. I have a hard time believing that.
I do too, but I don't think Pam Bondi. I think she's just doing what she's told to do.
Well, Pam Bondi certainly works for the pleasure of the President of the United States of America. About that, there is no doubt. Thomas, sorry to run, but I got to get to the news. Before I do, 5644 says, Murphy, bleep Epstein stuff. Slime deserves no time. Slime loves slime. Love waste not my ear. You are not mighty judge. Go on. Fall in toilet. Quit putting bleep in my ear. I'm just reading it as written. More solid news, but you like slime ratings. That imp. Ship going down. I get a lot of those emails. And then I get this. I was raped when I was 8. I really appreciate you taking a stand for us. I'm not BSing. Real talk. I'm so sorry for your experience. And I hope that you have peace. Just as I hope that every single person exploited by Epstein and others has peace. We'll get to news. Hey, folks, Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. My man, Jeff Eddy, knows that if your AC is not ready this time of year, it can absolutely be debilitating. It can just put you down because the heat is oppressive, especially inside of a home that's sealed and ready for AC, right? So it can be hard to find someone that you can trust that'll just fix what ails your AC without trying to upsell you on a new product. Well, Jeff Eddy is that guy, and I know it because I've met with him and I've talked with him, and I've been a customer of Jeff Eddy's, and he does it the right way. So if you're trying to make a decision about repairing or replacing, he's your go-to guy, whether he's a first or a second opinion. Now, when he tells you that it's time, he'll explain why. He'll explain what's gone out, what it would cost to fix what's gone out, and frankly, that's the way that it ought to be, where you get a full-throated explanation, and then it's time to make a selection. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they can help you out in that regard. EfficientHVAC.net is the website, EfficientHVAC.net, or call 615-784-4424. 784-4424. I invite you to call Jeff Eddy and Efficient. If your heater's not ready, if your AC's not ready, call Jeff Eddy. USS stands for United Structural Systems. United Structural Systems has one thing in mind: keeping your home stable, keeping your home dry, keeping your property safe for you, your family, and your visitors. It's what it's all about. We all need peace of mind, friends, and at United Structural Systems, that's truly what they're giving you. They're a company with over, almost 30,000, just about 30,000 incredible satisfied customers. These are people willing to offer their testimonials over the last 30 years about how USS made a difference in their lives, came in, identified the issue, corrected the issue in their homes, and saved you thousands of dollars on the back end. That's what it's all about. USS comes to your house, and they are a problem solver. So whether you've noticed the signs or you just want to make sure that there are none, call for a free consultation today at USS. They keep homes stable and dry. Since 1994, 615-488-7855, 488-7855, or go online to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com. All right, so a lot of activity from the President of the United States of America. Man, oh man, he's a guy on a mission. He never stops. There's always new news. There's always new information. We're going to cover some of that, which we have not gotten to just yet, in just a moment on the Trump front. But before we do, Joe Biden back in the news, as the New York Times, of all organizations, is now reporting on what we know as the auto pen scandal. So we are well aware, rational people recognized that Joe Biden was not making the intimate decisions during his presidency that many on the political left claimed he was. And this was covered up. This was clearly covered up by the mainstream media that now claims that they had no idea. I just love it. It reminds me, Jackson, have you seen, you're a movie aficionado, I would suggest.
I like movies, yes.
Uh-huh. I bet that you don't really go back and watch some of the old standards. I bet that there's a gap in your movie watching.
That's fair. I like to watch anything from the 1980s to now.
Well, there are some movies that I would say, if you want to consider yourself an aficionado, and there aren't that many, but if you want to consider yourself an aficionado, understand, different time, different style. I know there are a lot of things that would put up a blocker for you to see a movie like this, but I'm going to go ahead and recommend Casablanca.
I'll catch the remake.
The remake.
You know they're going to remake it.
Oh, dear. Humphrey Bogart? No. Ingrid Bergman?
Who?
Frankly, no, that's a different movie. Play It Again, Sam? Yeah, he doesn't actually say that in the movie. But,
Play It Again, Sam.
These are lines from the film. Play it again, Sam, or you can play it for her, you can play it for me. Of all the gin joints in all the world, she had to walk into mine. My favorite line from that movie, though.
Oh, I've seen parodies of it.
Yeah. I mean,
So I get the gist.
It's a World War II thing. He's a they ask him, "Are you what of what nationality?" I'm a drunkard. Anyway, so there's a moment in the film. Rick is a bar owner, and he has gambling in the back of the room. And everybody's on the take, and everybody knows what's going on in the back of the room. But a do-gooder's in the room. Without going into too much detail, the do-gooders are calling out Rick for having gambling. And the constable, the local sheriff, if you will, is hearing this news, and he says, "I am shocked to learn there's gambling in Casablanca." And then somebody walks up to the constable and says, "You're winning, sir." "Oh, thank you very much." So I am shocked to learn that the New York Times is reporting all of this. Mr. Biden, this is from the New York Times on the auto pen. Mr. Biden did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons that applied to large numbers of people, he and aides confirmed. Rather, after extensive discussion of different possible criteria, Joe Biden signed off on the standards he wanted to be used to determine which convicts would qualify for a reduction in sentence. Even after Mr. Biden made that decision, one former aide said the Bureau of Prisons kept providing additional information about specific inmates, resulting in small changes to the list. Rather than ask Mr. Biden to keep signing revised versions, his staff waited and then ran the final version through the auto pen, which they saw as a routine procedure. In other words, individuals such as Anthony Fauci received pardons that were auto pen in nature. And I do believe that it is an open question as to whether or not these are valid pardons, considering that the President of the United States of America did not sign off on them. Now, what do I believe will happen? If Joe Biden repeatedly regurgitates the information that he's been fed into his feeble brain, if he keeps telling people that I knew about him. Oh, yeah, I knew about him, Jack. Oh, yeah, I signed off on it. I knew about everything. Oh, I can't remember now. All he has to do is claim he can't remember now, but he could remember then. He doesn't remember now, but he did know then. If he keeps saying that, you're going to be hard-pressed to see any of these pardons revisited. And I know in a dream scenario, I would like nothing more than to see Anthony Fauci brought up on charges. I would love it. Absolutely adore it. I do not believe it's going to happen. Because unless we find someone with intimate in-room knowledge of Joe Biden's inability to figure all of this out, it's just not going to be there. Sad, but true. In the meantime, we can be thankful that we got somebody like this in the White House now. Here's Donald Trump putting a fine point on it from the Oval Office earlier today.
Right, we get thousands of letters a week, Susie, right? Thousands. I mean, tens of thousands sometimes. I look at there's a room where we have many, many people working, responding and sending letters back. That's what an auto pen's supposed to be. To write to a young 7-year-old boy that writes to the president and he wants to be president someday and he loves America. That's what the auto pen's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be for signing major legislation and all of the things. No, the auto pen, and I doubt he knew. I doubt they even spoke to him about it. I think they had, it's called a freewheeling auto pen. Like, Biden was never for open borders. Biden was never for transgender for everyone. So I don't think I think the radical left people that took over the White House, and if I didn't win, our country was finished.
Okay, so bullseye for President Donald J. Trump. It's exactly right. There was never a design authorizing the auto pen that would suggest that this should be for some sort of major legislation that, unbeknownst to the President of the United States, was signed in his name. There was never a suggestion when the auto pen was authorized that it ought to be for things like pardons. Donald Trump nails it. 9-year-old kids, 10-year-old kids write the White House, and they want to believe that the president will write them back. And the president of the United States of America does not have possibly the ability to write every single one of these children back. However, the White House can coordinate nice letters that are custom to the child's age, are custom to their request, and they're so good about doing this. And they get the signature, and it's done by a real pen. It's just not the president doing that all day, every day. He would not have the ability to do that. That's what the auto pen is for. The auto pen is not to sign the big, beautiful bill into law. The auto pen is not to sign a pardon for your son, although he didn't. You notice this? Joe Biden signed the Hunter Biden pardon. He actually put pen to paper and signed that one. He did not sign a bunch of these others, but he signed that one, which I find to be hilarious in a way. He was smart enough to know to do that. So if Joe testifies about the pardon, right, there are many that want to believe that Anthony Fauci, as an example, I would like nothing more than Anthony Fauci to be put in jail. But I am being realistic about this, that if Joe maintains that he knew about the pardon, it is hard to bust through that. It is hard to bust through the Constitution here. The Constitution gives the president and the executive branch that amount of grace. And pardonability is pretty wide. Now, look, I say this as someone who believes that Anthony Fauci was directly responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions of people. I believe that. Anthony Fauci and his willingness to lie to the American people and the rest of the world about what was going on. Anthony Fauci knew there was gain of function in Wuhan, China. Anthony Fauci knew that we were funding gain of function. Anthony Fauci knew what was going on in that lab. And Anthony Fauci stood before the American people while talking about all of this behind the scenes and looked at us and said, we have no information about that. We believe it's a bat meat problem. We believe that this came from a wet market. How do you think the reaction would have changed in the United States of America and around the rest of the globe if we knew from the jump that this was a man-made deal? If we knew from the minute it happened that it had been either intentionally or accidentally released out of Wuhan? Huh? And they denied it for years. Anthony Fauci testified that it did not happen. Testified that there was no gain of function. Liar from the pit of hell. All that to say, if Joe Biden sticks to his word, he can lie through his teeth about it, but the pardon stands. The pardon stands. This is why you should not, by the way, as an aside, I would note, one of the reasons why you should not try to remember details of movies that you've not seen in years is I'm getting a finger wag from the peanut gallery that I'm misremembering the setup of the line that I like so much. It was Nazis who were telling the constable and others to shut down the gambling. And the response by the constable to the Nazis was, I am shocked to learn there's gambling in Casablanca. You're winning, sir. Oh, thank you very much.
You know what music I think of when you bring up Casablanca?
What do you think of there, Jackson? That's probably pretty good. Oh yeah, Jay's St. Clair's probably got a pretty good knowledge of movies of that era.
This noir style.
What is your that noir? That's a little Perry Mason there. What is your what would you consider to be your favorite film, or in the top? I won't pin you down to one, but what's a top 3 movie for Jackson Williams?
Top 3. I love comedy.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
Happy Gilmore is one of my favorite movies.
Are you excited about the new?
I'm excited to watch it. I don't have particularly high expectations for it, but I am excited to see what they do with it.
I think it's going to stink.
I think it is too, but I'm going to watch it. I'll be there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to. If you're a fan of the original, you kind of have to be there to see what's going on.
Also love Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick.
Both of those very, very good films. Let me tell you, I love a good comedy myself. I rarely would put comedies in my top tier of movies, but I think my favorite comedy of all time, and it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of good ones. Caddyshack's great. I think Raising Arizona is my favorite comedy. And if you've never seen it, don't forget the profile, Ed. It's pretty good.
Also, big Back to the Future guy. Love the Back to the Future
All of them?
movies. Yes.
Even number 3?
Yeah.
Stinky PU.
I like
you know
all
what?
three
I
of
say
them.
that. I've never seen number 3.
I enjoy all 3 of those movies.
You know a movie I saw over the weekend that I've never seen, and I'm kind of ashamed to admit it? Sandlot. You ever seen Sandlot?
You're killing me, Smalls.
You're killing me, Smalls. I knew where the phrase came from, but I've never seen the movie. And now I have.
And thoughts?
Yeah.
What about the Mighty Ducks? You seen the Mighty Ducks?
Never seen the Mighty Ducks.
Great. I loved the Mighty Ducks when I was a kid.
Know what it's about, but I've never seen. Have you ever seen Howard the Duck?
No.
Aviator, documentary about Howard Hughes. I'm just doing word association now. The pain is overtaking my shoulder as we wind down the Monday edition of the Matt Murphy Show. Not that you asked. Jaws, Unforgiven, and Amadeus. Not necessarily.
Ooh, I
in that
forgot
order.
one. Independence Day with Will Smith.
Independence Day.
I love that movie.
I'm back. Randy Quaid.
Such a good movie.
I mean, how about that guy? Went from, living in an RV, got his life back together, stopped drinking, and, and saved the world, saved the planet, really, by going up the old caboose of the spaceship.
Such a good movie.
52 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. One thing Aaron Stokes at Eurofix has not been shy about, and that is expanding his reach to make sure that everyone within the sound of my voice has a Eurofix near you. And with that in mind, over the last 26 years, he's grown. He's grown in Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and the latest location is in Mount Juliet, up and running and ready to serve. They've been in Middle Tennessee for 26 years now, and we've gotten to watch them grow, and they grow because they do business the right way. They have that 3-year nationwide warranty. They give you an automobile as a loaner car while yours is being fixed. And now, after starting in a barn in the backyard of a single-wide trailer, they have 5 locations and serve thousands of cars on a monthly basis. Right across the street from Dairy Queen on South Mount Juliet Road. I mean, you can go get a dipped cone while they do their 15-minute no-wrench inspection on your automobile. 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or visit myEurofix.com. Hell, if you go to Eurofix, I'll come buy you that dipped cone. myEurofix.com. Don't forget his phone call, Ed. Hey, it's 57 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. We're winding down our portion of the day, and we're handing off to Mark Levin before we go. Let's see. Alligator Alcatraz detained immigrants. You know, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was over there. I had this clip ready to go, and I just didn't. I didn't have time for it, but it's absolutely deliciousness. Where Debbie Wasserman Schultz says that it's ridiculous that the inmates at the Alligator Alcatraz facility have to brush their teeth in the same vicinity of where they go to the bathroom, which is, I don't know where you brush your teeth, but I brush my teeth like feet from where I go to the bathroom every morning. And I don't consider that to be unsanitary. It is standard operating procedure that federal inmates, state inmates, local county lockups, you're brushing your teeth. They actually have a unit that is a complete, it's like one toilet/sink unit. So this is standard. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz is going off on how inhumane and upsetting it is that the Trump administration would allow that to happen. I love it. I love everything about it because the American people see through this nonsense. Donald Trump has threatened tariffs on Russia. We have not brought that up today, but it is a fact. Trump is kind of over Putin lying to him, and Vladimir Putin has apparently been lying to Donald Trump. He says one thing and then he does another one. And Russia will face severe sanctions and tariffs if the country does not sign a ceasefire deal to end the war with Ukraine within 50 days. That according to a White House official confirming to various publications to include National Review. President Trump made the announcement in the Oval Office earlier today. Great news. In the meantime, an update on the sadness coming out of Texas, Kerrville, Texas, to be precise. It is a tragedy that continues to grow in its magnitude. Last I saw, over 130 now confirmed dead, including 27 campers from Camp Mystic. Very sad, and we'll continue to update you on that as well. A lot of your responses from the Super Text lineup. Y'all are right. Big Lebowski would probably be in the top 5. And probably on comedies alone, I would say Big Lebowski is right there with Raising Arizona. Great flick. You haven't seen that one either, have you? Need to see both of those things. Until next time, tomorrow, starting at 3 o'clock, have a great evening. Enjoy Mark Levin. Friends, for Jackson Williams, Ken Weaver, Matt Murphy speaking and saying, have a great evening. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.